Welcome to the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex, this purpose-built karting circuit inside the facility here at Road America for the 2026 Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final. We have 5 classes here this weekend for kids ranging in age starting at 6 years old up to mid-teen years. Over 14 is the last benchmark here for the 5 classers. I'm Jamie Howe, joined by Roger Hayden. Roger, we think about the future stars of the MotoAmerica paddock and two-wheel road racing here in North America, and this is where it comes from.
This is where it starts, and the competition is what we need for these young riders at such a young age. I love one of my favorite events of the year coming here, and you know, just to get all the young kids together. You might dominate the area where you live, but you come here and you're racing against all the riders in the whole world your age, so you really get to see where you stack up.
That's one of the great things about the way that this program has developed over the last couple of seasons is there are now multiple places around the country, different moto groups where kids can go out for qualifier weekends all over the country, get themselves some experience throughout the racing season, and then come here to the national final and compete against one another.
Yeah, just the competition. You said it right there. That's the big part is having that competition with all these guys, be able to go out. And we've seen it in practice and qualifying so far this weekend. We've seen a couple young kids getting out there and already starting to kind of dice it up.
Now in the 3rd year of this national final format, what we now know is a lot of these kids are talented on different levels of motorcycles. A lot of them are entered in multiple classes this weekend.
And I think that's a huge benefit for the riders. You're already here, so you might as well maximize all the classes that you're able to ride and get that, you know, get that experience. You might win the lower class like 110, and then, you know, if you're doing 160 also or another class where you might not be dominant, it's going to be a huge benefit if you can race that class and maybe not win. Sometimes you learn more, Jamie, when you don't win a race, when you get 3rd or 4th.
All right, let's take a look at the schedule for today, Roger. I mentioned 5 different classes, but this is a 4-race, 2-day format. So this is what it's going to look like here on day 1 of competition. We're going to start things off with the GP 160 class and then stock 50 before we get in GP 110, GP 190, and then stock 110. And then, Roger, we get to do it again.
Yeah, race 2, GP 160, followed by race 2 is stock 50, then GP 110, race 2, GP 190, race 2, and we're going to finish the day with stock 110, race 2.
For more on the format of how this program works and what's at stake for these young riders, here is MotoAmerica's Chuck Axlin.
MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final, and this is the 3rd year running. And you know, our national championship consists of four races. They're all points-paying rounds. The rider that gets the most points obviously is the champion in that class. Yeah, I kind of equate it as like we're starting Little League. You know, this structure was not around when I was a kid. It wasn't around when a lot of my, you know, compatriots were trying to come up. You know, the road to go road racing was you kind of either started in flat track or, you know, a bit of motocross, and you kind of transitioned when you got burnt out or saw better opportunities in road racing. So you know, what's transitioned over the last few years in Europe and Spain in particular is kids started at a young age, and so we're trying to you know, do that in our own way here. And it's great to see the kids progress for sure from the 50 class, and now some are already, you know, in the 110s and moving on up. So it's it definitely is fun to watch their progression.
Didn't exist when you were a kid either, Roger.
No, it didn't. I would have loved to have been able to get my feet wet in road racing a little sooner. Really, when I wanted to do this, it had to be at flat track, has this same opportunity, and now you get to come here, and I like it also because it gives people in other disciplines to come here and race and try their hand at road racing. You know, there might be some talented kids that are coming from motocross. John Hopkins was a motocrosser, and he made the transition, went over to Europe, so that's it's a huge benefit for everyone.
Down in the MotoAmerica paddock with the professional ranks now, we have a lot of kids that grew up flat tracking and grew up on motocross, but to have, if they would have had the same opportunity, who knows how many more competitors there'd be.
A lot more, and everybody would have a little better starting point once they got into MotoAmerica. And it's been fun even for us last year talking about guys that was in the old volleys here at the Mini Cup Nationals, and then we see them this year, you know, winning Kenzie Matsudaira, winning the Talent Cup races. So it's just been a really good opportunity for us to be able to follow their progression, where they start, and watch them start to make their career in the MotoAmerica, and a lot of them doing some races over in Europe.
Let's take a look at some of the results from this weekend so far, Roger, through practice qualifying. We'll take a look at the combined qualifying results here. You see Zal Farhand in the 160 class leading the way.
Yeah, and he's got quite the gap there on Lambert Sue. Christian there third, Tommy Mulliner fourth, Rylan Sy rounding out the top 5.
Zal Farhand, he's one of those names we remember from last year. It's going to be great to see how he has progressed over the course of the last 12 months. Let's hear from him. We'll hear from Zal in just a moment. Progression year to year. I mean, Zal now, Roger, he's really the benchmark here in this 160 class.
Yeah, and just watching him this morning, Jamie, I mean, it was just incredible, the talent he has. And, you know, he's really aggressive on the bike, but in control and smooth, and just really a young talent. And that's going to be a name right now. The fans watching this weekend, go ahead and put a star beside his name, because you're one of those guys that you're going to want to follow.
He's one of those riders that race all over the world already. Let's hear from him now.
My goal is to get first in all the races this weekend. I'd really like to thank my parents. They help me a lot. They drive me everywhere. They buy the plane tickets. They work on the bikes. They get the bike shipped everywhere. They do 99% they're doing and 1% I'm doing.
That's pretty cool that he recognizes, just 10 years old, but he recognizes that he can't do this by himself.
Yeah, and I really like that part of the interview as well, because you really can't at that young age. You don't really realize what all your parents are giving up until you get older and you realize what it costs to go racing. So it's a great opportunity for him to be able to acknowledge that.
All right, kids in that 160 class entered this weekend between the ages of 10 and 13 years old. Let's hear from, let's look at some of the older riders. This is the GP 190 class, and Jay Still was qualified on pole.
Yeah, Jay Still, another name we've seen the last couple of years with Connor Raymond, Maverick Johnson, Dexter, their fourth, Parker Bussey there in fifth.
The thing I love about Jay Still getting that pole position is every session through the practice sessions and the 2 qualifiers, he got quicker each and every time. But you see Connor Raymond there sitting in second. He was the quickest rider at the end of the day on Friday. Let's take a listen to this.
I want to win the championship. Every year I've got second, so I hope to win this weekend. It's really fun. Drive's long, but it's fun. Best thing about racing is probably winning.
I think any rider would say the best part is when you're able to win. But you made that point earlier, Roger, that you learn a lot from the races that you don't win. And in the case of Connor, finishing second a lot of times, those lessons will eventually carry forward.
Yeah, and it's going to make him from one year to the next just work that much harder. It's going to make him, whenever he goes to races, he's going to want to get better. And, you know, you think about these kids being young, but you don't understand the competitiveness having these events for these young guys. So he's been thinking about this weekend since last year, and he's been working hard. He's going to try to come out and get one of those #1 plates.
A lot on the line for these young riders, and a lot of them competing in multiple classes, as is our pole sitter in the GP 110 class. We'll take a look at those combined qualifying results, and you can see the whole field chasing the very young Cruz Texter.
Yeah, and Cruz won a lot of flat track #1 plates a couple months back at their big event with Christian Berlowitz second, Chase Jazikoff, Bruno Milanos fourth, and Cole Shannon running out the top 5.
Yeah, I love that. When we talked to Cruz earlier, you know, he still is very much so involved in the flat track program, and he's like, yeah, I won all 3 of those championships over there. So great to see him out here. Done a lot of road racing so far this season. That's a big change for him. Let's take a listen to this earlier.
I'm really excited for this weekend. I'm going to try to get the win in both the classes, the 110, dirt stock 110, and the GP 110. It's really cool. I really like it. I wish my aunt and uncle were here, but that's okay. They're at the flat track race. It's just fun to put your knee out or your leg out and drag knee, and yeah.
Big weekend for flat track as well. But for Cruz, you know, last year, Roger, he didn't do any road racing coming into the national championship weekend, so he didn't have those bonus points. Completely different program for him, just 8 years old, coming back this season, now spending all of his time out at the racetrack. And you heard it there. He said, drop your knee or put a leg out. Those are 2 different disciplines.
And for him, you can just see all the practice and effort they've put on. Looks totally different rider going into this year. Last year, you know, they said they were really thought the rain really help them out because they didn't come in really prepared. This year they're so prepared. They do not want to see rain. And, you know, you can just see it in his interview, the confidence that he has as an 8-year-old.
It's a great overhead shot from our drone camera of the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex. Here is the track map, Roger. Today we go clockwise. Tomorrow we'll flip it, but take us through a lap.
Yeah, and that chicane is going to be tight there coming up through turns 3. And then the track goes uphill, Jamie, all the way through that quick chicane 4 through 6, turn 7, a tight hairpin. And then we start going downhill. Fast little turn 5, goes down to a big old bow corner in turn 11, down into turn 13, really tight through this area, the track for these riders. So, you know, it's same as the MotoAmerica weekends. You have to be on point from turn 13 all the way to turn 17, or you mess up that whole section. It is a tight, twisty little corner running into the front straightaway.
It's a short track, Roger, just 0.6 miles in length, but that's a lot of corners for these kids to remember.
Yeah, this track, one of the best I've seen for the Ovales. I mean, just look at the size of it. There's a little elevation. There's a couple bowl corners. They got hard braking. There's a little bit of everything, and it just looks like a really fun track. You know, when I think about when I used to ride some super motard, I mean, this track would be a dream.
When we were watching some of the riders earlier, you made the note that you can tell that they do a lot of kart track racing. How can you tell that?
Just their aggressiveness and their confidence. That's the big thing. The riders who, when you see them come up in lap traffic, they don't follow for a couple corners. I mean, they pass right away, and you can see when they're sliding the bike around that they've been putting in some work and practicing.
You can hear the bikes. You can see the GP 160 class now coming through to make their way out to the racetrack. For these kids, Roger, what's on the line for them? I mean, you think at the end of the weekend, that's 4 races that they'll have here this weekend in this class. At their ages, between the ages of 10 and 13 is what's centered here this weekend. What's going through their minds here as they're getting ready to go?
Well, it's nervous for some of these riders. It's their first year, and this is a huge event. I mean, you think about some of the riders, how nervous they was when they found out that this is going to be on TV and people are going to be watching. And for them, it's just the competition, and this is the start of their journey. And you can see right there, I mean, you can see some of the riders there just looking down, trying to get locked in.
It's a beautiful day on hand here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 77 degrees, 54% humidity. There's a slight breeze in the air. Yes, it very much feels like summer when you're outside, but it is not too hot. It is not too humid. It's really perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect for these riders. Track conditions are going to be great, and you know we're in for a good day. Last year we had a lot of rain throughout the weekend, and so far we're looking good this year.
For these young riders, Roger, I mean, take yourself back to when you were just getting started. You would have these race weekends where you'd go from bike to bike, and you know there's all of this pressure, and your parents were there, and you know you might have had some friends or your siblings. Everybody was all on track together. Does it wear you out mentally when you're this old?
Yeah, it does, because you can feel the pressure, and that's the big thing. You have to keep it fun as well. You can't just come here and you know just put so much pressure on yourself, and then the kid's not going to have fun, and the results aren't going to be there. So it's all about, you got to find that balance as a kid. You know, you want to play with your buddies, but you're also here to do a job as well.
See the field making their way out right now. It will be it's 10 laps. It's planned. We have 15 riders here in the GP 160 class. One of the youngest riders out there, one of the 10-year-olds, that is our pole sitter, Zal Farhan. We talked about him. There's also Rylan Sai, one of the other 10-year-olds. Chase Jazikoff was here last year. He's one of the 10-year-olds in this class. And IJ, Israel Cavazos is also a 10-year-old out there. So a lot of youth, varying levels of experience. And we talked about Zal Farhan last season. He had just, when he got here to MotoAmerica last year, he was coming straight from a tour in China. He had been racing there the weekend before. Some of these kids have only raced here in the States. Some of them go and stay in Spain. So there's a huge level of experience difference.
And some of these kids are just getting started in this class, and you know they just did the qualifier, and here's like their second or third race. So there is a lot of different varieties. Zal, who's got a lot of experience, and going over to Europe, and some kids who are just getting started.
Tell us a little bit about the Ovale, the GP 160 class. what's unique about it?
What's unique about it is it's more like a road race bike instead of a motocross bike. So when they start to make that transition to Junior Cup, they already know kind of how the bike is going to feel.
Take a look at our starting grid. There's our pole sitter, joined on the front row by Lambert Sue and Christian Berlowitz.
And Tommy Molnar, Ryland Sy, and Cole Shannon.
Go to row 3 and you'll find Artur Pino Castellanos, Chase Jazikoff, and Mason McIntyre.
Xander Hilligus, Ron Masunga.
Then back to row 5 is Kendall Leonard, Karina Tancredi, and Zayden Malco. You can see this nice shot from this camera angle, Roger, that elevation that you talked about. There is a little bit of everything.
Yeah, there is a little bit. And even through here, and what's going to make it difficult for these young riders is the going downhill. You're going to get into these corners a lot quicker than you think you're going to.
Sighting lap is now complete, so the riders will pull to their grid positions for the first time. Some familiar faces down there on the grid.
Yeah, I see John Hopkins there, right there on the front row. He's got some riders. We know he's working at a kart track out in California and really trying to do his best to bring some riders through to get to that next level, and he's out there helping them on the grid.
6 riders here this weekend from that Southern California region, one of those 10 different mini moto organizations, though Volley USA down in SoCal. See the Apex, that's his team name. Also for these kids, Roger, to be affiliated with teams and organizations, that's going to help them form a career in road racing.
Yeah, and just think you got a guy with experience like John Hopkins helping your rider out. There's nothing he hasn't seen. Even at a young age, you see him there trying to run to get off track, and that's going to be a huge benefit.
So now underway for the warm-up lap. This will be the last opportunity for these riders to get a good look at the racetrack. And the other part about the format of this weekend that I really, really love is the fact that it is 4 races. Today, both of the races in each of the classes will be going with this direction of the racetrack. But tomorrow, we're going to come back and we flip it. So it is almost like going somewhere new.
And that's the big thing. You're going to get 2 tracks in one weekend. So if you're struggling one way, you know, you got to go fast both directions. So it really evens it out. There's that fun little bowl corner there with it. Even though it goes downhill with that bank right there, Jamie, you could almost use it as like a motocross berm as you go through there, get in really deep and scrub some speed off.
These kids are going to have a fun race. This is 10 laps, and ultimately that is the goal, right? We talk a lot about the pressure. We talk a lot about what's on the line, but this is the way that they choose to spend their time. This is still, at 10 to 13 years old, this is still a hobby, and this is something that they're supposed to have fun doing.
Yeah, and some kids do travel baseball, travel football, travel basketball. These kids do travel motorcycle racing.
That's pretty awesome. All right, warm-up lap complete. All of the competitors will now find their grid positions for the final time. GP 160. We are racing here at the Briggs and Stratton Motorplex.
It's all great start for him. Lambert Sue right behind them. Battle for second starting to heat up already, but you can see the gap he is starting to pull out.
Great strategy for Zoll just to be able to get out early and not let anybody else get any closer to him if he can maintain that gap. We'll see if he's able to do that. It was 1.6 seconds between them in qualifying, but Zoll himself, he picked up a lot of pace from Friday to Saturday.
Yeah, and he's just gonna, even though he's winning these races, he's gonna push himself by the lap times. And there you just see it, how you can tell when a rider's improved, and you see him going through these corners just so quick, and just the confidence that he has. He's not second guessing anything.
Around this final corner, the first lap is now complete. You can see everyone settle down just a little bit, but you can also see through the body language. I mean, look, when you look at Lambert Sue there sitting in second, you can see how aggressive he's trying to be just to get up just a little bit closer to Zoll.
Yeah, and that's just what he can do, and just keep chasing him. And now this gives him the opportunity to get behind Zoll and see what he's doing, and that might be the difference. Christian Berlowitz also right there behind Lambert Sue doing a good job.
Christian Berlowitz has also been a front row contender in the GP 110 class, so we'll see him out later as well. But not a lot of passing happening at the early parts of this race, but this is really one of the things about this format and getting these kids out here at younger ages is that they're learning that racecraft.
Yeah, and you see Chase Jazikoff there. He's one of those guys we've seen come up through the stock 50 class, and now he's making his transition over to the Ovalies this year. And just getting more experience with the older riders moving up to the 160 class.
So Chase Jazikoff, they're on the 422. Rylan Sy on bike 20.
I like too these races are pretty long for these young kids. You think about 10 laps for a young rider. That is a lot of laps to be out there, you know, hit your marks every lap and try to be consistent.
Both of these riders are also just 10 years old, so they're getting every lap, each one, while it might be a long race, every lap brings its own lesson, and whether it's I can push more here, or I need to push more early, or you know, I'm really good through the right-handers, but I need to work on my left-handers. There's always something for them to pick up on. You can see Chase continuing to do that. He's getting closer and closer to the back of Rylan.
And also you're picking up ways how to pass and make those passes. A lot of passing in road racing starts the corner before, and this gives them, you know, they got to learn that, and the only way really to learn is to get out there and get those lab opportunities.
Tommy Molnar on the 152. They're right on the back of him. So while they're pushing each other, they're also closing up that gap to 4th place. Up front, Zal Farhan now has a 2.3 second lead over Lambert Sue.
Last lap, Lambert matched him for a lap time, so Zal's got a over 2 second lead, though. He doesn't need to push that hard. You see Lambert's not giving up.
Right there also running in the 57s is Christian Berlowitz, who's currently in 3rd. So some pace there for Christian as well.
Last lap, Zal got back into the 56s. Just his consistency has been key.
Not having to fend off anyone either. Zal's able to just put his head down and go for a ride. That is not the case for this group of riders. Rylan Sy there in the middle of this battle on bike 20 from the drone shot. You can see the red leathers. Having to try and close up that gap, but also having to defend that position as well. This is a great ride. Oh,
high side there. MotoAmerica staff will get there right away. It's actually Joshua there helping him, Raymond picking him up.
So as they tend to Rylan and the rest of the field comes through, Rylan was going for that 4th position that was being held by Tommy Molnar. The race is still underway here at the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex. You can see the bikes still at speed. They're right in the middle. You can see safety workers tending to Rylan. As we go back to our leader, Zal Farhan had a tremendous start from that pole position. He's been able to put the hammer down lap after lap, continue to improve. Qualified at a 56.0. Best lap in the race has been a 56.5, so great pace out of Zal.
Yeah, great pace. And you just see him put his elbows over the curbs. The red flag comes out.
You can see Zal put his hand up there, and now making that call to go ahead and bring all of these young competitors in. There were 4 laps remaining when the red flag came out. But as we watch as they try to continue to get Rylan to a safe spot and right in the middle of the racetrack, you can see where it was, just bringing out that red flag, just to get everybody out of the way and to make sure that that can be done as efficiently as possible. It's a good decision.
And you think about how young they are, you know, with a young kid there moving around, but you can tell it needs to get a little attention to him. So red flag comes out. All these riders did a good job slowing down, and they'll have to head toward the pits and as the ambulance heads out.
Rylan Sy out of Stockton, California, part of Sy Brothers Racing, just 10 years old. 11th birthday coming up the 1st of September. So for Rylan, we send our best and go get him picked up. And with 4 laps remaining when that red flag came out, Roger, race control has now said that race distance is complete. Yep. So that will be the end of the GP 160 race number 1 here at the Mission MotoAmerica National Championship. See the bike of Rylan Sy getting moved off track. Let's talk about Zal, Roger. Mentioned from the pole, led the practice sessions from the pole, put the head down, had a great start immediately out front. But the word that you used was that consistency. Yeah,
and just able to get up to the speed the way he was able to do it that very first lap, and really just put a huge gap just that very first lap, and then consistently did some laps, and from there, you know, he just kind of just managed his pace.
Great to see Rylan up, now has the helmet off and on his feet. You can see him talking to the MotoAmerica, the safety workers, track safety workers here. That's a great sight to see. Even at 10 years old, you can see how frustrated he was with how this one ended. Just wanted a little bit more, going for that position, defending as well. So tough race for him. Go to our race results here. Zal Farhand with the win over Lambert Sue, and then Christian Berlowitz running out the top 3.
Tommy Molnar, Chase Jazikov coming from 8th on the grid. Cole Shannon 6th. Arter there in 7th. Bron Masanga, Mason McIntyre, and Kendall Leonard.
The fact that they have another race later on this afternoon, Roger, when you think about the fact that we didn't get the full 10 laps, what do we still not know for race 2?
Well, I think toward the end we've seen a lot of big gaps between the riders as the race tore on. So now I think you're going to see some of these kids start to improve. And the second race this afternoon, I think we're going to see a lot bigger battles. And you know, the riders in 2nd and 3rd, they're going to do what they can to try to close that gap down to Zal.
The margin of victory today was 2.4 seconds. That was with the red flag conditions, but it was right there in that 2 to 3 second range, really the whole race.
Yeah, the whole race. And for him, Zal, we've seen it. And today, I guess next race, he's going to challenge himself, too, to see if he can do a better lap time than he did that race.
All right, and Zal Farhand now has the headset on. Congratulations, GP 160 Race 1 winner.
Thank you so much.
How did that race progress for you, Zal?
It felt really great. I mean, the start was good. I just had to open up a gap and just pull. And then Rylan, I don't know how he crashed. I think he high-sided, but then it got red flagged, so yeah.
When you get that big lead there, were you consistently trying to go faster, or was you just trying to manage the gap to the riders in 2nd?
I was just trying to manage the gap to the riders in 2nd so I wouldn't crash or make a mistake.
From practice to qualifying, Zal, you were able to pick up a lot of pace. You found 5.8 seconds in terms of lap time.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
I mean, I think it was the conditions. My dad and my mom are working really hard on the bike or changing the tires, and I just felt more confident on the track.
Where do you feel like you can improve going into race 2?
I think I can improve on the downhill because I feel like I have too little speed there, and I feel like Lambert's catching me there.
How aware are you of where the competitors are when you've got the helmet on and it's race time?
I mean, I can see from the corner of my eye to the beginning of the corner, so I can see how much I'm gapping them. But sometimes when I don't see anybody, I get really scared, and I just try to push like super hard.
Tell us about this track. We've talked a lot so far today about the elevation here. How's it from the rider standpoint?
I mean, the elevation is really fun because I don't really get to ride on a lot of tracks that have elevation, because this track goes up, it goes down, and some corners are like going straight down and others are going straight up. So it's a really nice track.
We saw you out here last year competing in the 110 and the 160 class as well. What have you been doing over the last 12 months?
I've been going to Spain, training in Spain. I've had Moto Mini races in Apex. For the most part, I've been in Spain for the 12 months.
How big of a benefit you think you get getting that experience going over to Spain and then coming back this weekend?
It's been a huge, I got so much faster because I'm training with all the Moto 3 guys, Moto 3 guys, Moto 2 guys, and it's really fun because they're so much faster, and you just have to chase them and try to pass them.
At just 10 years old, you still have a lot of time left where you're still eligible to race here in these classes. What goals do you have for yourself?
My goals for myself this year are to go to Valencia and win the World Championships, and then farther goals are to make it to Red Bull Rookies Cup, and from there make it to MotoGP and become a multi-world champion in MotoGP.
Lots of incredible goals for yourself, and you're doing all the right things to get there. Congratulations on the race win today. That is Zal Farhand, our GP 160 Race 1 winner. We'll look for more from you later on this afternoon.
Can I make one quick shout out?
Sure.
I'm going to make a shout out to my friend Ken. I did it last year too, but the feeling is unspeakable.
Unspeakable. All right. Thank you for that, Zal.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Lots of cool things to come for that young rider, Roger.
Yeah, and it just shows you that experience you get when you go over to Spain. And he mentioned it, he has to ride so hard to try to stay with those guys, and you see what it's able to carry over this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. We'll take a look at the replay of what brought out the red flag. See the red leathers, bike number 20. That's Rylan.
Just a little too much throttle with the lean angle there. He was really chasing hard, trying to make a pass, and the rear end just stepped out and came around really quick as he gets into this left-hander. The bike moves around a little bit there. You see it starts to get unsettled, and then from there the rear end comes around, and there's nothing he could do from that point.
Great to see him able to get back up and on his feet. We did see him talking with the medical safety workers, so we'll send him our best well wishes as he gets some treatment here on the property, but he was able to walk away, and that bike was able to get pushed off of the racetrack, so those are both positives. All right, let's switch over to Stock 50, Roger. This is a little bit of a different animal here in terms of race experience and bikes and ages. These are the youngest competitors on the property, but here are the combined qualifying results. Cooper Jazikoff, our pole sitter.
Marcus Sue there, second. Kyle Kane, third. Alexander, fourth. Carter, fifth. Maximus Nolan, sixth. Colton Parker, seventh. Ronan Akrop there in eighth.
You have Maverick Trancredi there in ninth, and then Gene West rounding out the top 10. These riders between the ages of 6 and 8 years old, so this is the first time that they're eligible to come out here. In the case of Cooper, our pole sitter, he is 8 years old, so he is one of the older ones. Doesn't mean that there's necessarily the most experience, but it's a great platform for riders to be able to get out there on these Stock 50 machines and just get some experience, just get some laps. It's the first time you think about road racing. It's the first time that you're seeing the flags, and it's the first time that you're dealing with traffic, and that you're gridding up, and it's all of those other elements that you're going to do, that you're going to have no matter what bike you end up on in the future. But this is the base of it.
This is the base. And Cooper, we've watched him last couple years. He is really fast in this class, and some of these other riders that get to do two classes at their age, it gives them two different motorcycles to ride. The guys on the, doing some of the 110 Ovales, and then also doing this class as well. Gives you totally two different bikes that you're racing throughout the weekend.
Cooper was P1 in every practice session, and qualifying session here. So we take a look at the starting lineup, and on the front row there is Marcus Sue and Kyle Kane.
Yeah, Alexander there 4th, Carter Blackner 5th, and Maximus Nolan.
Go back to row 3. There's Colton Parker, Ronan Akpop, and Maverick Tancredi.
Gene West, Travis Brown, and Alien Abs.
14 competitors here. You'll find Aiden Cavazos and Zabag Zajia there, rounding out our field.
When you look at the ages in this class and you see from 6 to 8, you really, when you think about it, you don't really think they're going to be as little as they are. And then you see these little kids walking around in the pits, and they are so small, and you're like, it really puts it in perspective when you see them, how young they are and how little they are getting out here on one of these tracks.
They look like little bobbleheads. Yeah, they're so small with their big helmets on. A lot of them, actually, when you walk through the paddock, you'll see them sitting with their helmets on. And it's because that helmet's heavy. And getting used to that weight on the top of your shoulders, if you're, even if you do it every day, it still isn't normal.
Yep.
We'll leave those helmets on and, do different activities. It's just like when you have a little football player.
Exactly.
And they've got to get used to having the weight of that helmet sitting on the top of their body. Kyle King on bike 26, qualified 3rd. Listening to some of the parents talk to the kids back in the paddock area, Roger, one of the words that they use is instinct. When you're 6 to 8 years old and you don't have a lot of experience and you're basing it purely off of instinct, what's different?
Well, the difference is they're trying to learn that, and that's what's so cool about this class. Some kids are trying to learn to line up. You see that. They don't really know. They haven't come to a grid before, and it's really hard. You think of gridding up is that easy, but even when you go through the ranks, we see on MotoAmerica weekend, some riders need a little help lining up. So for that, the instincts just comes with experience.
Great big helmets on these little kids. All right, warm-up lap now for Stock 50. Riders between the ages of 6 and 8 years old, all on Honda CRF 50s. Bike that you can just go out and get. Yep,
just go out and get. And cool thing about these bikes, you could ride them on a dirt bike, trails, road racing, get the kid to ride a little bit of everything.
When you were that age, Roger, what was it you were riding?
PW50 and a XR50, just like these kids are, but didn't have the opportunity to ride on a track like this.
It's really cool to think that at the end of the 4 races for each of these classes this weekend, that the AMA #1 plate is going to be handed out, and this is the first generation where this is really happening. And to now hear them and think, oh, I'm gonna get one of those I could get one of those #1 plates. I can hang that on my wall.
And then some of these kids that are going to come back next year and they're going to want to achieve that. They're going to have a goal they want to be able to get and hang the #1 plate on their wall.
See Corey Texter there on the grid in the blue baseball hat, walking off to the grass right now. He's done a lot of work behind the scenes over the last couple of years to continue to help this program grow on a national level. And it has certainly continued to do that. More and more attention. Riders now able to be competitive in multiple classes is pretty cool. More mini cup organizations, mini moto organizations around the country. Just a lot more attention on two-wheel road racing here in North America. But this is where it starts. 6 years old. That's how old you have to be to make this field. And we have a lot of them out there in the stock 50 class this season. Everyone's in position, and we are underway here for race 1 in the stock 50 class.
Great start for Marcus Sue in the middle of the front row. We're going to lead them through the chicane as they start to head up the hill in their first lap with Cooper right behind him.
We've had a couple riders that have gone down here to start off this lap.
That's just going to come down to trying to figure out how to get through that chicane in a big group. This is a big group of riders for these young guys.
To practice and qualifying, you kind of have the opportunity to go out and just kind of ride by yourself. But it's, you know, the race start, that is part of it, and those are tough lessons.
Cooper makes the move, coming down the hill right there.
Didn't have the start that he wanted, but he has certainly been able to make up for it early on in this race.
These two got together in qualifying today too on the outside of the chicane, so they've been battling pretty hard all day.
Actually, I was looking at the grid for the next race, and this is a 7-lap race here for these young riders for stock 50. It is a little bit of a shorter race distance.
We go through the chicane. The staff did a great job picking the bikes up. Look at Cooper in a little wide, almost runs off track, but able to keep it on.
Marcus Sue was right there, though, if he wasn't able to do so. And if Marcus can stay there with him, these two are going to push each other, not just for the race today, but they'll have each other's numbers for the next one, too.
For a long time. Next year, as they keep both moving through the ranks.
It's a good battle for third as well between Kyle Kang and Alexander Androvsky.
You can see these young kids trying to figure out how to get their knee down. You know, they're trying to figure out how to actually get the knee down. You see them kind of sticking it out before they even get into the corner, just trying to talk about those instincts. And, you know, as they get better, those instincts, that knee's going to come right out right at the right time.
Take a look at, this is the replay of the start of the race. You see Marcus Sue with that great start. Then right here is where it got a little hairy at the back of the field.
And this was the pass for the lead.
Yep.
Marcus, last lap, fastest lap of the race, 10.9.
You know, the other cool thing about this Mini Cup, the national final format, riders from all over the country. I mean, you think in the case of Cooper Jazikoff, they're from Sanford, Florida. But then you have Marcus Sue out of Tustin, California. These two don't get to race each other all year long, but then they come to this national format and they're able to see what the rest of the country's doing.
Yeah, and that's the benefit. You know, they kind of dominate their area, and then they come here and they have to push each other. And, you know, that's really what they need. Is Marcus, that last lap, ran quite a bit quicker than where he qualified at a 10.4. Now he's at 10.9, and, you know, getting a little bit closer to that 1 lap speed.
Good battle between Kyle Kang and Carter Blackner. Set. The 67. So that's Alexander. Was Kyle able to get around Alexander then?
Cooper 109.8, Marcus 109.8. Both of them under their qualifying lap. So pushing each other, like you mentioned, and that's what they need.
Kyle Kang that we're watching there on that we were watching on the 26. He's already half a second quicker than he was in qualifying, as well as he had to fight back that position.
And they're going to come into lap traffic as well. And, you know, you see that how it kind of was a benefit, and that's something else that they're going to have to learn to do is get their way through lap traffic. It could decide one of these races.
Cooper Jazikoff at 8 years old, having a brother that he's able to race with. train with and learn from. That's a huge benefit also.
Huge benefit. And Marcus is better toward the end of the track. They're kind of yo-yoing back and forth. Cooper's a little bit quicker in the first half of the track, pulls a little bit of a gap. You can see through the chicane, opened up a couple bike links. They're really going to get into traffic now, and Marcus is able to close it down toward the end of the lap.
This is one of the areas where Cooper Jazikoff, talking to him before the race, that he actually mentioned was lap traffic. And you can be really quick those opening laps, and you're the one that's making the decisions. You're not really worrying about having to make a lot of passes necessarily, but that's where it really gets interesting for these riders. I mean, they just don't do a whole lot of it, and having to do it when they're going for a national championship adds just a little bit more pressure.
Yeah, and you got to learn to, coming through that traffic, when to take that chances and when to not.
This is the battle for sixth. See the Maximus Nolan there on the 627. It's Colton Parker on the 8.
It's fun watching these kids. They're always looking overhead at each other as they get side by side.
Because afterwards they're going to go to the ice cream stand together also, and you know. Maximus Nolan, he's one of the 8-year-olds in the field. Colton Parker, just 7 years old.
And you can see the little bit of the difference between them and the two leaders. They haven't quite got that experience yet to get that knee down.
I love too that you can hear parents yelling and cheering at the fence line. Can you hear it as a rider, Roger?
Maybe here on the 50 you could probably hear it a little bit, but not, you know, when you're racing like that and the other bikes, it's hard to hear. These little bikes are quiet though.
They are. Go back up to the front. We continue to have Cooper Jazikoff as our race leader, white flag, and now flying. This is the final lap of the 7-lap race 1 here for the Stock 50 category. And you can see just from a couple laps ago how much more comfortable Cooper is in going through the traffic.
Yeah, and just making better decisions. Really, when you come up on lap traffic, you got to figure out that it really starts the corner before. You can't wait till you get up beside them and pick a move.
He's able to open a little bit of the gap there over Marcus Sue coming through the traffic. Marcus will learn from that, though. He will have watched this happen in front of him for the last couple of laps. And with 3 more races this weekend, certainly going to come back into play. So it's not just about, you know, 12 months to 12 months, like how much have they grown and improved. It's all, you see it just over the few days that we're on the property.
And you can just see it from qualifying. Marcus does a 1:10.4, and now he does a 1:09.9, a half a second quicker.
Cooper Jazikoff, 8 years old. The bike used to belong to his brother. Now he is very much in charge of it as he comes around to the final turn. You can hear the family. He will take the race win here for the Stock 50 race number 1.
He asked if we was going to interview him again this year and said if he wins, so he's going to get that interview he wants.
Kyle Kane there on bike 26 will bring home our top 3. It was Marcus Sue that was able to finish there in second. He continues to celebrate. I love it. So much energy out of this young competitor.
Still excited.
As he goes through, right now that he's sitting up on the bike, Roger, can you tell who's on his leathers?
Yeah,
Can you see
I
that?
can't, but you know who it is.
That's Raichu. I love it. One of the Pokemon characters, and for Cooper, oh, look at him pump both fists. Look, Mom, no hands.
Yeah.
That is awesome. These are the days that, like, as a family, you know, they have both of their boys out here racing, Mom and Dad here building the bikes. They've got a whole slew of bikes over there underneath their tents, and they travel the country riding together, racing together. These are the days that they'll remember.
Yeah, these are the big days for them, and you know, the family trips is just, that's what, not whenever we used to race, that's something that we remember is the family trips. We don't ever remember the races that we won when we talk about what we've been through. It was always the amateur races like this and traveling as a family.
Take a look at the race results here for the GP, or the Stock 50. Race number 1, Cooper Jazikoff with the race win. Marcus Sue second, Kyle King in third.
Alexander fourth, Carter Blackner there in fifth, Colton Parker sixth, Maximus Nolan in seventh.
Ronan Akrop there in 8th, Gene West in 9th, and Eileen Abbs in 10th. Back in 11th, there was Aiden Cavazos. And then we had one rider there in 13th, Maverick Tancredi, after that opening incident. Not able to finish this one. You can hear the "let's go." I imagine that was Cooper Jazikoff that's continuing to cheer all the way around, bringing the bike to his family over at Parc Fermé. He'll get the headset on. We'll get to hear from him in just a couple of minutes. But these young riders with 3 more races to go this weekend, we talked about the mental aspect. Physically, though, Roger, it's going to be exhausting.
It's going to be exhausting because they had a practice day yesterday where they rode all day. So 3 days in a row for a young kid, it's going to be a little bit draining.
All right, Cooper Jazikoff, you've got the headset on. Congratulations, the first race winner in the Stock 50 class for this season.
Thank you. It was a really good race. On the first lap when I started, I went and my foot pressed down, so I had to shift 2 times up. And then Marcus got in front of me, so I had to go way faster, and I passed him. The one corner where you have to go down the hill, I'm really fast right there, so that's how I passed him.
Did you know Marcus was right behind you that whole race?
Yeah, I followed him because he was right behind me, but we had a tiny gap, but it was a really good race.
What was your favorite part about that race? Was it the pass or the win?
It was the pass, because when I passed him, I was like, come on, and I was like, how much more laps? And I didn't know.
That you passed him on the first lap and you held him off the rest of the race. When you think about the rest of the racing that you have, where do you think you can get faster still?
I get faster going down the hill and on that one turn, because I don't let off the gas until we're on the turn.
You're old enough now also to race in the 110 class. Did you learn anything out there on the Stock 50 that you can use on the bigger bike?
I only used the 50 to learn something on the 110.
What did you learn?
Yes, what did you learn?
I learned a lot of new stuff from this track.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations on winning on this one. What are you going to do before your next race?
I don't know.
All right, well, good luck in that one, but congratulations for this first race win. Great to talk to you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, Cooper. What a cute kid, Roger. All right, so now we get ourselves ready for the GP 110 class. What is different?
Well, the difference now is they're going to move on to the Ovales. It's going to be different than the KLX 110 that we've seen earlier today. So, the KLX 110 looks more like a dirt bike. These look like full-on road race bikes that you see the MotoAmerica and MotoGP weekends.
These racers between the ages of 8 and 12. That's what we have. Our youngest rider here in this class, 8 years old, Bruno Bolanos, out of Austin, Texas. Our oldest rider in this one, this next race, will be Cole Shannon out of Indiana. at 12 years old. All right, let's take a look at the starting grid for the GP 110 category. Our pole sitter, Cruz Sexter.
Yeah, row 2, Bruno Bolonos, Cole Shannon, and Marcus Sue out again.
All right, go back to row 3. There is Ashton Alexander, Xander Hillegas, and Camden Dill.
And then Nico Bendale, Braun Masanga, and Julian Hackett.
Big happy birthday to Nico Bandel today. He turns 9 years old, so a big day for him out here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 15 racers out here in the GP 110 class. It's a full field, Roger,
Full
for these
field.
young riders. Cruz Texter, our pole sitter in this one of the youngest riders, at just 8 years old. Last year, Roger, he was one of the riders we talked about in that stock 50 class, but he didn't do any road racing before the national weekend. He came in with a 10-point deficit, having not done a qualifier, but he was able to find success. He was able to do really well, and it really changed his entire plan for racing this year.
Yeah, it really ignited their plan to do a lot more road racing and not as much flat track anymore. And you can see it this year that he looks like a totally different rider. And you know what's really cool about this class, the top 4 all qualify within a 10th, so we can expect a big battle up at the front.
It's an extremely close field here in the GP 110 class. Another one of the classes that use an Ovale platform. What does that do for the riders?
Well, for one, it's going to help them as they move up to the 160s next. And also, you know, that's going to be the progression, the 110, the 160, then move on to the 190. And you're going to start learning a lot better habits on this bike. And, you know, we're hitting apexes and setting your lines up where you need to be as we see a rider down in right off the warm-up lap, the 4, 5, 6.
Zachary Tancredi. He's able to get back on board, trying to get it going right now.
He did.
All right, so as he gets back up to speed, see if there are any issues resulting from that. But you can see the frustration as he's going through gears. There's another bike with an issue as well. That's Nico Bandel on 186, the birthday boy. So he's motioning for some assistance. And then frustration for Nico as well. Not the way you want to kick off a warm-up lap.
Not sure exactly what happened. He's off the racing line, though. I'm still there trying to get somebody over there to push him off a little more. He's still trying to get it started.
No, he's not giving up just yet. Meanwhile, the rest of the field, though, you can see from this great drone shot, everyone pulling into their grid positions. Look for Zachary Tancredi, bike 4, 5, 6, see if he's able to get there on row 5. Nico is meant to line up in that 10th spot on row 4. And looks like they're going to have to push him off to the side. So no race 1 here on his birthday for Nico Bandel. That's a shame. But back to the starting grid, everyone else in position. Race 1 for the GP 110 underway. Cruz Sexter, our pole sitter, had a good start, but
had the line, though, going through the right-hander off the start. Now he's got the lead.
Able to hold on to it. This is a good running for Cruz Sexter here in the GP 110 class. It's the stock 110 class that's his favorite.
Christiano's latching right on, so's Chase Jazikoff.
This was the tightest class in qualifying as well, and you can really see how that translates into racing. Christian Berlowitz with a ton of confidence. He's staying right on the back of Cruz Texter.
And this is what's going to be a big learning experience for them when you got a guy that you're kind of the same speed as trying to make those passes whenever, you know, in those tight technical areas.
Well, you have Cruz. I mean, Cruz is 8 years old, and then Christian Berlowitz, 11 years old. So there's a big age gap between them as well. And with that, you know, at this point in their lives comes a difference in experience as well. But for Cruz, he's got his head down, and he has dedicated all of his time to just improving his skills here over the course of the last several months.
Battle for third, fourth, and fifth starting to heat up.
It's just a pass for third, but you can see those gold leathers that Chase Jazikoff not giving it up just yet. He's going to see if he can fight himself back up into podium contention and third place points. Bike 95, Bruno Bolanos able to hold him off, and without any, with a whole bunch of clean track in front of him now, it's going to give him some time to try and open up a gap as well.
Yeah, there's still 8 laps to go in this race, so making that pass now, he has to put his head down and see if he can catch the guys first and second. Got another good battle right here for 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Xander Hillegas there on bike 2. Ashton Alexander is on the 99.
Marcus Sue there. Just seen him come off the... That's the benefit. You ride one class, you go and you fight for a win. You ride another class where, you know, you're doing everything you can to stay with that little group in front of you.
Xander Hillegas really wants to get around Ashton Alexander.
Ashton doesn't leave the inside open. You see, kind of goes in the corners a little bit tight, but he's going to go around the outside.
He had to work for that one, but the battle continues. Ashton is right there to take back that position. This being a 10-lap race, they do have a little bit of time there to be able to go back and forth and figure out where they're stronger than the other. We'll continue to watch this one unfold.
Yeah, and we watched the improvement from one session to the next to the riders at the front. Cruz Texter over half a second quicker than he qualified. He mentioned he would like to get some clean track, thought he could go quicker, and he's been able to do it.
As we go to the battle for third, you can see first and second there, the gap that they have to this battle between Bruno Bolanos on the 95 and the 422 of Chase Jazikoff. Bruno was the biggest improver from practice to qualifying. He picked up over 6 seconds and has continued to go quicker session to session as we go back to the battle for the lead. The 26 of Cruz Texter continuing to hold off the 17 of Christian Berlowitz, but for how long?
Now, this is going to be the hard part for a young guy like Cruz. He can hear the bike behind him, so he knows that he has somebody hounding him each lap, each corner, trying to look on the inside, looking on the outside.
When you watch the two of them coming through the corners, Roger, you can tell Christian at 11 years old, you can tell that he's been on this bike more frequently than Cruz.
And you can see too, just being a little bit bigger, he's able to kind of muscle the bike a little bit more. See Chase there setting up that pass the corner before, puts himself right on the inside. He's going to own the corner. You just have to be barely in front as we see a pass for the lead.
Potentially.
Cruz hung one.
Cruz able to stay up front. Christian Berlowitz sitting in second there. That is on bike 17. That replay that we just saw a moment ago, that was for third position. So Chase Jazikoff now in third. Look how close those front two are.
Cruz gets a really good run up this hill. You see he starts to pull away a little bit. Christian's a little bit stronger on the brakes as they start to go downhill in this left hand. You see he's going to close up a little bit. I think just being in second, knows where the rider in front of him. Starts to break in this last part of the track is where he looked to make a pass last time, and here he is right there on the back of him.
On this size bike, Roger, rider size, how big of a difference does that make?
It's going to help Cruz going up those hills and being a little bit lighter, but for him to pull up there and maybe out of the corners a little bit. But just see here, they're each got their strong suits.
See Christian getting the knee down. 4 laps to go here for race 1 in the GP 110 category.
Lap traffic as well, they're going to come into play.
There's the tail end of the field right in front of them. The 40 of Owen Smith.
Owen did a great job seeing the blue flag and scooting over. Christian's kept him a lot closer this lap through the first part of the track. So here might look on the inside there. Cruz does a great job not leaving the door open.
From the first lap to this lap, Roger, do you notice a difference in either one of their riding?
Well, they're getting quicker, and you can see that. And not even looking at the lap times now, look over and see that they're both doing 58.4s. Beginning of this race was, you know, they were doing 59, so they're just getting faster, and you can just see it in their riding visually.
Building the next generation of two-wheel road racers here in North America. It's Cruz Texter continuing to lead over Christian Berlowitz here in the GP 110 class. They've come up through the tail end of the field. We are nearing the 1 lap to go mark. Where can Christian pick up any more?
Well, I think what he has to do is that first part of the track before they come downhill be a lot closer so he can try to make a pass. He's able to close up the gap right here. This last lap, with a lap and a couple corners to go, Cruz looks over, sees he's got company. Just needs to stay closer to that first part and try to make the pass.
White flag is out. This is the final lap here for race 1 in the GP 110 class. Cruz Texter continuing to lead over Christian Berlowitz. This is the final opportunity. If Christian's going to pounce, this is going to be the last chance to do so. And you can see there in that shot that there are more bikes out in front that they're going to have to get through.
Yeah, look at Christian though. Getting it close to this first part of the track now. This is where he's been a little bit stronger.
So Corey is able to continue defense of his lead.
Christian's there. Might try to go around the outside and get in this next left. Cruz does a great job blocking the inside. Just such good racecraft for a young guy.
You use that word, muscling the bike around, in
There we
reference
go.
to Christian. You can see him. You can see him moving it, but Cruz is right there. Final turn to the stripe. It will be Cruz Texter with the win here in race number 1. Christian Berlowitz, that was a hard-fought battle for him, able to finish in second. This is the battle for 6. Same 3 riders that we were following in the opening stages of this race as well. Chase Jazikoff was able to stay in that 3rd position. Cole Shannon finished 4th. It was Bruno Bolanos who rounded out the top 5. Who's going to take home 6th, 7th, and 8th? This is the final turn. And it will be Xander Hillegas able to hold off Ashton Alexander and Marcus Sue.
Good battle.
That was a great battle. Good mid-race, good mid-pack battle there for those riders. I mean, they've got room that they can make up.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of room for improvement for tomorrow, but you watch them continued to develop that racecraft over those 10 laps.
Yeah, and the racecraft that Cruz had there, you know, if he would have did his normal racing line on that last lap and not really blocked the inside, you know, Christian was going for that launch. He'd been eyeing it up every lap. It's just pretty cool to see him have that racecraft to block the inside there.
Well, Christian Berlowitz did have to settle for a second-place finish. He did have the fastest race lap, so he had a lot of speed, but ultimately Cruz Texter was able to hold him off and take home the race win.
And for Christian now, he can look back at that race and knows that he has to be a little bit better in that first part of the track, so where he's stronger, give him more opportunity to try to make a pass.
Wait for the field to get through. You can see there Cruz Texter with his dad, Corey Texter.
Corey's wearing a lot of hats this weekend.
Race director, organizer, you know, all the behind the scenes logistics that go into making an event like this possible. Corey Texter wears all of those hats, but then you see Cruz Texter. He does a lot of work too, just 8 years old, and he dedicates a lot of his time to doing this. You know, we talked to him back in the paddock and asked what else do you enjoy doing, and this is
That's it.
But that was Christian Berlowitz that just came up and gave him that fist bump. You can see the difference in size between those two riders. Cruz at just 8 years old, Christian at 11 years old. So big difference between the two of them.
And that's a little bit where you see for the first part of the track, is they go up that hill a little bit. Cruz is riding great too, but you know, just a little bit of the weight difference.
A lot of congratulations from everyone in the paddock going to Cruz Texter. They recognize everything that family dedicates to be able to get out here and make weekends like this possible. It's cool to see everyone make the trip over to send congratulations to Cruz. These races go fast, Roger.
Real fast.
For us, anyway. for those young riders out with the helmets on, they probably seem just a little bit longer. And Cruz now has the headset on. Congratulations on your race win here in the GP 110 class. How was that race for you?
Oh, it was fun. I loved battling with CJ. He made a pass on me in the left-hander in the tight left, and I got him back, and I'm, really happy.
Cruz, did you know he was trying to pass you toward the end of that last lap?
Yep, I did.
We saw you change your racing line a bit. You went into defense mode. How hard, how long had you been working on that?
Not a lot, really.
You went quite a bit quicker than you qualified. Where do you feel like you found that at?
I don't know, actually.
When we talked back in the paddock, you told us that it was the stock 110 bike that you actually enjoyed riding more. But this one seemed to fit your riding style pretty good here this afternoon. What did you learn out there?
I don't know. Just riding the different bike. I have no idea.
What's the difference between the Ovale?
It's just lower, so it's easier to drag your knee, and the dirt bike's high, so it's pretty hard to drag your knee.
When you were here last year, you hadn't done any road racing to get yourself ready, but you've done a lot of road racing this racing season. How much more comfortable do you feel now?
Oh, way more comfortable. Last year I just got on the bike and my form was terrible, and I don't know why it rained and how I got it done.
What can we expect in race 2?
I have no idea, actually. Just probably do the same thing. We'll try to, at least.
You have more in the tank? Can you go any faster?
Maybe. We'll see.
What makes you so strong the first part of the track?
I have no idea.
Well, it was fun to watch. You
Yeah.
certainly enjoyed it. Congratulations on getting your first race win.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you later on this afternoon. That is Cruz Texter, our race winner here in the GP 110 category. Take a look at the results here from race 1. Of course, Cruz Texter with the win, and Christian Berlowitz there in second. Chase Jazikoff able to stay in contention there in the top 3.
Now, Cole Shannon Bruno there rounding out the top 5. Xander Hillegas 6th. Ashton Alexander, Marcus Sue, Braun Masanga, and Camden Deal.
All right, we get ready for the next race, Roger. That will be the GP 190. The older riders that are here on the property. What are you looking forward to?
Well, just seeing the bigger kids, and this is the kids where we're going to see maybe that transition in the Talent Cup next year, and so just see them battling it out. And you know, Connor's talked about he's come up short the last couple years. Is this the year he's going to be able to pull it off?
Let's take a look at the starting grid. Jace Dill, our pole sitter. There is Connor Raymond in second and Maverick Johnson in third.
Dexter there fourth, Parker Boosie, and Arter rounding out the second row.
Row 3, Mason McIntyre. Alejandro there in 8th, and Alex Alberton in 9th. And then it is Case Pursley rounding out our field of 10 here in the GP 190 class. You mentioned this next generation, the next crop of riders that we'll see out in the, potentially out in the MotoAmerica Talent Cup. That's one of the prize package items here in this national final, is that if you are age eligible, MotoAmerica is comping your entry fees for a Talent Cup ride next season should you be one of the champions.
Great opportunity for them, and you know, we've seen some of these kids at the races already at MotoAmerica, and you can see they're eyeing up that next step. Chase Dill's got some experience overseas as well, so he's one of those guys that he's an up-and-comer.
Just 12 years old, Jason Dill is, so not quite there yet. You do have to be 14 to race in the MotoAmerica Talent Cup. We've seen a lot of talent recently. Kensei Matsudaira, who won this category here last year, multiple race winner now in Talent Cup this season.
Nathan Gauker as well. Both those two, we followed them through this series. Now we're seeing them on Sundays.
Warm-up lap will now begin. A little wheelie there from the back of the grid.
And you can, when you're watching this, the 190 class, the kids are a little bit older. I mean, you can just see it on the warm-up lap, how quick they all take off and trying to, you know, get heat in their tires right away on this out lap. Some of the younger kids really kind of cruise around. So each class, you can just kind of see the progression and where it starts, even on, you know, the warm-up lap.
Laps also here in the GP 190 class. For the older kids who have a little more experience and maybe recognize a little more the pressure scenario, you know, what lies ahead for them, does it make the 10 laps a little longer?
It does make it a little longer, especially if you're a little bit off. It just seems like it takes a long time, but you know, for these guys, it also gives you a great opportunity to maybe follow somebody to pick up a couple things. You think they're still kids, you know, they're still trying to learn where they're headed.
Warm-up lap now complete. You can see the riders all getting back to their grid positions. We are racing here, race 1, the GP 190.
Jace gets a great start. Not sure that's what the field wanted to see. They cannot let him get away early on, Jamie. They have got to stay on him on this first lap.
Continue to get faster and faster each and every session. So the field they were able to stay right there with him. It was Connor Raymond, though, who was the quickest at the end of day 1. So he certainly knows that he has the pace. It's going to be about staying with everyone up front. Timing and scoring cycling up here in our broadcast booth, but it is Jay Still who has continued to lead on this opening lap. You can see a problem there for the 22 of Alex Alberton.
That's a really fast first lap for Jay Steele, a 55.2. He qualified at a 53.5, so just a couple seconds off from a standstill start.
Heard a couple of the riders, Roger, talking about track conditions. It's continued to improve over the day. ambient temperature has stayed really comfortable, but bikes have just continued to run and run on the track.
Yeah, and getting more experience as well. I think that's the big thing we see, the lap times. And you mentioned it earlier. As we got going, I mean, it is the perfect temperature out here for these guys to go racing.
All right, we'll take another look at the start of this race, Roger. You can see
Maverick there on the outside just gets a really good start. Jace just wheelies it, but like perfectly, not too much of a wheelie where he had to let out of the throttles. They get through the chicane, it's one line through there.
Maverick Johnson qualified third. He's been able to, on the opening stages of this lap, continue to improve. But you mentioned the rest of the field, Roger, not wanting to let Jay Still open up a gap, and he continues to let that gap grow.
Yeah, and just watching him ride through there, and you know, he's one of those guys coming down this big corner there, getting his elbow down onto the curb.
At what point do riders gain the confidence to be able to drop knees and elbows?
Well, that's the thing when the Ovali's now, they're starting to figure that out, getting their elbows down. And, you know, not every corner like we see some of the other ones, but fast corners where they can carry enough speed to be able to do it. And, you know, you see Jay Steele coming out of corner exit as well and getting on the throttle so hard. You can see the rear end of the bike. He's starting to slide it a little bit as well, helping to get that drive out of the corner.
Is our pole sitter, Jay Still, who continues to lead the field there on bike 97. That is the gap to second, the 63 of Maverick Johnson, and then Connor Raymond there on the 44, sitting in third. These two are setting themselves up for a battle here in the next couple of laps if Connor can stay close enough to Maverick.
These two are going quicker than they qualified, trying to sit there and go with Jay, so you can tell he's making them dig a little deeper.
Great things about this championship. Jay Still, just 12 years old, out of Temecula, California. Connor Raymond out of Pennsylvania at 13 years old. Having the chance to come out here and race together is pretty cool. Maverick Johnson, 13 years old. He's out of Texas, so 3 different parts of the country all coming together here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
And this is the point system is all 4 races, so every position is going to be really important in this class because you never know at the end of the 4 days what can happen.
And riders might be really strong today in this track layout, but maybe tomorrow it's the one that they struggle with, or vice versa.
It's exactly. We've seen some classes that the second day is totally different than what we see the first day, so it's going to be important to, you know, if this is the part of the track, this direction is the day where you're a little bit quicker, you're going to have to maximize the points that day.
They were given the opportunity to have 2 practice sessions yesterday afternoon on the reverse layout, which will run tomorrow. So they have been able to see it at least prior to qualifying and racing tomorrow afternoon. But it's just another one of those little parts of this national final format that the riders have to contend with. And it makes it really cool for all of us, the fans, that they get to watch this next generation figure things out and start to make a name for themselves.
And they get to look at their lap times from the previous years and see how much they're improving from year to year.
Because the bikes and the tires, those are the same. It all comes down to rider development, and that makes it a pretty cool format here for these young competitors. Now, what about the Ovali 190? Anyone can get one?
Yeah, anyone can get one. And also, too, these are a little bit quicker compared to the other one. So it's a good little system. You get the 110, that's a little bit slower. Get started for a young guy. Go up to the 160, a little bit quicker, a little bit more power. And then you make that transition to the 190. So there's a good system where you're not just jumping right in and, you know, trying to hang with the big kids. There's that little system to just slowly improve and work your way up toward the 190.
And then what about from the Ovali 190, that jump up to the Kramer that we have in the Talent Cup.
That's going to be a pretty big jump, but this is going to give you a really good head start to be able to do that. It's going to be quicker. The tracks are going to be a little bit longer as well, a lot quicker, and, you know, a lot more kids closer to your speed. But you think about the transition. Look at Kinsey, look at Nathan, the transition they have made from the Ovale 190s to where they're at now has been pretty seamless.
Being on these types of racetracks here at the Motorplex, it's not the big track like Road America, you know, we call it the big track, but these tighter circuits, what are they able to learn to take to the time when they do get to go to the big track?
Well, the big thing with the tracks like this is your technique. You have to be more precise on your lines. You can't run wide. So many of these corners all run together, so you have to be precise. You have to, you know, hit your marks, and you kind of get to learn that.
This is the battle for second that continues here between the 63 of Maverick Johnson and the 44 of Connor Raymond. These two have stayed this close really since the start of the race.
It looks like Connor now, as this race is starting to wind down, he's gotten a little bit closer where he's kind of looked on the inside a couple corners, but just hasn't got close enough to be able to make that lunge.
Jay Still on bike 97 continuing to lead up front. He's opened out nearly a 5-second gap between this battle for second. So we are in the final stages here of this race. But as you watch the 44 of Connor, you just mentioned it, that it seems like he's able to get a little bit quicker, maybe a little bit closer. Is it enough?
He has to stay closer. Through here, he gets a really good run out of the last corner and through that first part, but Chase is just so consistent. Best lap, 53.4. From there, he's been 53.8 consistently.
Final lap here, white flag is out. This battle for second continuing to the line, and now there's a little bit of traffic in front of them, so they're gonna have to come up through the field. Jay Still has already done that. Gap now between himself and second place. There's the 97. The gap now over 5 seconds. So for Jace, just doesn't need to make any mistakes. There's nothing to push, nothing to lose. As
lap traffic,
what role will it play? The 44 of Connor Raymond able to take the point. See the 63 of Maverick Johnson now on the offense. See if he can get back around Connor Raymond after running the bulk of this race in that second position. Now finds himself sitting in third. But the race win goes to Jace Dill. And the battle will go all the way to the line. Connor Raymond, though, able to hold him off there to finish in second. Maverick Johnson in third. 0.2 of a second separating the two of them.
It's close. Maverick was looking those last couple corners, just was no doors to make it through.
One of the things that, as you watch Jay Still here on this cool down lap, and we made the mention earlier, Roger, that when you have a gap like what he had, you don't have to push it, but he did. He never slowed down. Even when there was no pressure, he continued to run his own race at his own pace and continue to stay right there in the zone that he was comfortable in.
Yeah, and just he really did his qualifying pace the whole race distance all the way to the end. I mean, even his last lap, he slowed down just a little bit, and it was still a 54.1.
Yeah. Take a look at the full results here from race one in the GP 190 category. Jay Still with the race win. Connor Raymond there finishing in second, and Maverick Johnson in third.
Yeah, Dexter fourth, Parker Bussey there in fifth, Arter sixth, Mason McIntyre in eighth, Case Parsley.
Best lap of that race does go to Jace Dill. It was a 53.4 here in race trim. He was a 53.5 in qualifying, so actually ran better than his qualifying pace there. We'll take another look at the pass for second. That came right at the end of the race. This is exciting.
Yeah, just a little bit of traffic there for Maverick, unfortunately. He kind of got the raw end of the deal there, trying to go around the outside, and you know, that's one of those things we talk about learning, trying to get through lap traffic next time when he's in that opportunity. he's going to go on the inside and won't let that happen again.
Both of those riders 13 years old. They'll both be 14 years old come December, so they would be age eligible for the MotoAmerica Talent Cup next season. Our race winner, though, Jace Dill, he will not. He will only be 13 years old, so we're going to get another year to watch him continue to grow, but with a big race win here today, that is certainly going to help his momentum going into the rest of the racing here this weekend. And he now has the headset on. Congratulations, Jace. That was a great race for you, and it was a fast race, too. Your pace was through the roof.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a fast race. I was just trying to set my own pace, and yeah, I was trying to pull away.
Jace, when you have a big lead like that, are you just trying to stay consistent and manage the gap, or are you still pushing yourself to do better lap times?
Both.
Your best lap in that race was a 53.4. That came about the halfway point. That's quicker than you qualified at. How were you able to find just a little bit more out there in race trim?
I think the track got better from qualifying. It's a bit more grippy, so I think that's most of it.
What's your favorite part of this track?
I think my favorite part is the downhill.
I've heard a couple of riders say that. Tomorrow when we go racing for the pair of races, we flip the track layout around. You got to go out and practice yesterday. Which configuration do you like better?
Backwards. I like backwards more.
What's your goal when you come into a big race like this? Is it to win the titles and challenge yourself?
Yeah, I'm trying to make it to the World, so yeah.
What's the next step for you?
I think try to go faster, and that's it.
What kind of lap time do you think you can do if you just went 100% for one lap on one of these 190s?
I think I could probably do a 52 high, I think.
From last year to coming back this year, what kind of a different rider are you?
I feel better on the bike, so I've been practicing more on it. I feel a lot better and bigger on it, so I have more, I don't know.
When you go practice, what have you been working on?
Just riding with other people and battling and stuff.
What will you do now to get yourself ready for the next race?
Just focus and try to hit more lap times and see where I can get better at.
Where can you improve?
I think a little bit on the uphill chicane. I think I can get better there.
All right, well, we'll look to see what you can do the next time out, but big congratulations for your first win here in the GP 190 here for 2026.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see more from Jace later on this afternoon, but we already have our next group of riders. It is the Stock 110 class that will be the next group out to the racetrack. So we go back down a little bit in terms of speed and size and bike size and then rider age as well. But for these riders in the Stock 110 class, Roger, we're not back to the Ovales, so what's different?
This is more like a dirt bike, and you'll see it's the next size up from the 50s. A lot of KLX 110s in this class. We have a couple Honda CRF 110s, but mainly it's the Kawasaki's and just more of a little dirt bike for these guys. And, you know, you just take the motocross wheels off and you add on the street tires, and then you can go racing.
As we get ready for the next race, you can see some emotion there from the other side of the fence. Cruz Texter will be out there for this race as well as our pole sitter. We already saw him wrap up the win in the GP 110 class, and that's not even his favorite. It's this one that he feels like really suits his riding style.
And just the move up from the stock 50 to the 110 for him is, you know, and you mentioned it earlier, it's the track time. It's the work that they're putting in from, you know, last year, every weekend, getting as much seat time as they can on different bikes.
$19 riders here in the stock 110 category. This is a big field of competitors, a big range in terms of experience levels. You have riders just 8 years old out there with riders that are 12 years old. So there's a big age range, a big size range. What is it about this style of bike that allows them to all be competitive?
I think the big thing for this is just the range of riders for in this class. You have some guys that are really fast, some with not that, you know, they're trying to move up from the 50. They're a little too big for that. What I like about this bike as well, you know, you can put some motocross tires on it if you want, and you can ride in the trails, and also put these street tires on it and go racing.
All right, you can see the youth there, all of them having a good time together as the track is now open. Let's take a look at our starting grid for Stock 110. Cruz Texter, our pole sitter, Chase Jazikoff in second, and Ashton Alexander alongside on the front row.
Bruno Milanos, Bron Masanga, Owen Smith.
A lot of familiar names out there from what we've heard earlier today. Ethan Powers, Sophia Smith, and Cooper Jazikoff.
Julian Hackett, Zachary Tancredi, and Alexander.
Go back to row 5. There is Brandon Beretta, Marissa Greimel, and Karina Trinchetti with Reese Ruette. We saw her here last year. Remember, she broke her leg and wasn't able to race, but great to have her all healed up and back out here ready to go at it again in 2026.
Yeah, great to see. It's such a bum deal last year for her to have to watch this in the hospital. But how cool is that to see her back on the grid and not giving up and staying at it?
Just a little injury, you can heal and fight back from that and go out and continue. She's just 11 years old, so lots of time ahead for her. That was the sighting lap. So one note here, Roger, that is definitely worth making, I think, you know, mention the age range, 8 years old to 12 years old. With that age range also comes a big size disparity between the riders as well. And riders, like in the case of Chase Jazikoff, or sorry, Cooper Jazikoff, the younger of the brothers, he's not tall enough yet to be able to get this bike off the line by himself. And because he needs assistance to do that, he's going to have to automatically be at the back of the field.
Yeah, it's just really cool to be able to go do that. And also, it's a lot better to do that than just not sign up and go out there and do what he can and try to come from the back. You see his dad out there getting ready to gonna get the blocks after he takes off.
Like 55, Bron Masanga. Out there you can see the focus. He's ready for this warm-up lap.
And some of the other kids looking at the grid, they can barely touch.
Yep. But I do love that. You're not forbidden. If you're not tall enough, okay, fine, you're going to grow. Yep. But you're not forbidden from being out there. You just have to start at the back so that you can safely, your helper can safely get those blocks out of the way. And you're still given the opportunity to go out there and ride with the bigger, older kids and see what you can do.
It's all about track time through here. And he's going to learn a lot, learn how to pass and coming through the pack. And he'll see how many he can get through today. Next race, he's going to try to see if he can't make more passes than he did the first race. And then next year, if he comes back to race the Stock 110, he's going to have a full race weekend of experience here on the bike. It's not just the races. You think about he got to do the practices yesterday, and then he got to do the practice and qualifying on it today. So he's, you know, he has to start in the back, but he's getting a lot of seat time, and that's going to be the big part.
He was able to win that Stock 50 race as well, so already has some momentum to carry forward. And you heard him say it if you were with us a little bit ago, that he only does the Stock 50 race to get himself ready and to learn something for the 110. All right, our field is getting back into their grid positions. That's the 99 of Ashton Alexander. We were looking at, you saw the 614 in the background, Sophia Smith.
You can see him putting the blocks down.
So he'll be at the back. Got his feet up on the blocks. He's ready. All right, starters out of the way. Race number 1, we are underway for Stock 110. It's a great start.
Chase Jazikoff.
Chase Jazikoff in the blue and gold.
Cruz kind of wheelied a little bit and had to shut off as he's already trying to make a pass going into the first chicane. Cruz got in there just a little tight, almost got into the back of him. But Chase, great rocket of a start.
Yeah, he was able to very quickly get out front. You can see already opening up a gap. Cruz Texter now slotting himself into second, has a little bit of work to do to get to the tail end of him, but this is a long race, 10 laps for these riders, and with all of the riders that are out there, you know lap traffic is going to come into play.
Cruz is already on him and looking up the inside right here, set it up the corner before. I think it was the last lap, he was going to make that pass.
Understanding that there's still a lot of laps left to go, there's plenty of time to do it, no reason to force the issue. But what this also does is tell Chase, like, hey, somebody's there. You got to push.
You can hear it. You can see Cruz now setting up on the outside, going to try to cut up under, going up the hill. Kind of lost the front end there on that last corner.
Bruno Bolanos in third, Ashton Alexander in fourth. And then you can see Braun Masanga there in fifth. That pack of three will continue to battle.
Chase also is staying to the inside of the track. You see there, Cruz is going to have to go around the outside. It is much harder to do that. We'll see what Cruz can do now. He's on the outside. Chase is just going to have the line.
Chase Jazikoff at 10 years old does a lot of riding. The family all actually making a big transition this season and moving to homeschool so they can continue to go racetrack to racetrack and focus on this program at hand.
See Chase again. It's not the fast line, but when you have the lead and the rider behind you is a little bit quicker, don't want to leave the door open.
In this format, Roger, at this age and this level of experience, at what point does it become blocking versus smart riding?
Well, you see Cruz now looking back after he made the pass. It's just for a rider as young as he is, it's pretty smart to know to stay to the left side of the track already and not leave the door open. Now he's the one in the back, and he's going to have to make a pass. You see Cruz there sliding the rear end.
These front two are just continuing to push the envelope here, the gap to the rest of the field continuing to grow, but they're going to make each other so much better having the opportunity to be able to ride together in this format.
Yeah, and that's for Cruz there. Had to really think about his pass there as Chase looks toward the inside. Now he's going to follow Cruz for a lap and maybe try to figure out where he can be a little bit better. But I like watching the rear end of the bike on those toes. They're coming out of the corners. You can see the front end moving around and the rear starting to slide around a little bit on these bikes.
This is the battle for third. It is Ashton Alexander leading over Bruno Bolanos.
Cruz did mention, you notice that these bikes set up a little bit higher than the Ovalis, and you kind of see, you know, for saying that makes it a little bit harder to be able to get the knee down compared to the 110.
It's almost like it's a completely different style of riding. I mean, it's the same track configuration, but with the bikes being just so different in the way that they sit, the rider has to be able to transition back and forth.
Yeah, and they're just going to move around a lot more. These bikes are going to be a lot softer, so they kind of bounce around. You see them moving around a little bit more compared to the Ovalis when they get in the corners. And you know, these things are built for not to do this. The Ovalis are, but I think that's what gives them a lot of experience, is able to get out here and ride different style bikes.
A great battle here between Ashton Alexander and Bruno Bolanos as we approach the halfway point of race one here in the Stock 110 category. Similar to Stock 50, actually exactly the same as the Stock 50. This is a bike that you can go out and buy, Roger, and then you can take it to a variety of different racetracks to let your kid continue to improve.
Yeah, and ride whatever he likes and figures out what he wants to do. Just change the wheels. You're ready for the dirt. Put some road race wheels on it and go to a kart track and get some laps. Bruno, you can tell now he's starting to get little bit itchy, looking on the inside, looking on the outside. See now he's going to try to line up here, try to get a good run up the hill. See how he gets through the chicane. Strong through there. And has to get a little bit closer, though, if he wants to make the pass.
Bruno Bolanos, 8 years old, out of Austin, Texas. Ashton Alexander, he's a 10-year-old out of Pennsylvania.
Now Braun caught him back.
Yeah, Braun Masanga is right there with them. 11 years old, out of South Dakota. It's a big weekend in South Dakota, isn't it?
Big weekend.
Sturgis going on, but right now it is all about what's happening here at the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex. This is such a great opportunity for these young riders.
Oh! 2 riders.
Both wanting the same position.
Exactly. Both of them didn't want to give up the spot.
See, Bruno Bolanos was there, able to pick the bike back up. We'll see if he can get it back going, but for the meantime, we go back up to the front. Cruz Texter continuing to lead over Chase Jazikoff. Braun Masanga in third.
Braun's going to have a little bit of a gap now with the other riders going down, unless he got caught up. I couldn't tell if he had to go off track to avoid that crash or not. This is the corner. We've seen those two get together. Just, you said it, 2 riders wanting the same piece of real estate.
Yellow flags you did see out, so in the case, like at this point in the race, Roger, when they're catching the lap traffic, but then you've got a yellow flag, it really comes down to patience also.
Yeah, you got to be patient, especially Cruz now with the 6.5-second lead. You have time to get through there. You don't want to really force the pass. Roles are reversed for some other people who are trying to catch somebody or make a gap. They're going to be a little bit more, take some risk.
Red flag has now come out here for the riders in the stock 110 category, so all of the riders will need to pull off to the racetrack as the officials continue to get out to Ashton Alexander. The safety team gets out there and contend to him, and with only 3 laps that were remaining here in this first race and the red flag out now, Roger, that means it is the checkered flag as well, and this race is now complete. So for the second time today, Cruz Texter will be at the top of the timesheets.
Yeah, he's just been so fast so far this weekend, practice and qualifying, and you know, in that race, just a really smart race Cruz put in there, just taking his time, getting through the pack. Once he got there, did some good laps, and from there just managed.
See the safety team out there with Ashton sitting up, and you see him communicating, getting to his feet. That's a great sign. Good to see.
Jake Page out there working this weekend too, there on the setting on his bike.
I'm gonna have to talk to Jake's team next time we're at a MotoAmerica weekend, because I also saw him hitting up the cookie stand pretty aggressively at lunchtime. We'll take a look at the incident that happened. Here's another look.
Here's a look right there. Sets up on the outside. He's kind of got the spot, trying to come back on the inside, and both of them just didn't want to give up the spot. The guy on the outside wanted to make the pass. Inside wanted to not give up an inch, and, you know, they both go down. Unfortunately, it's a racing incident. You can see it right here. Both of them wanting the same piece. They did not want to give the other one any space. You see these bars are a little bit wider compared to the Ovale, and they kind of came together.
That was a big hit for Ashton Alexander. So great to see the riders able to be up and safely with the workers there. When you go back and watch the replays, Roger, if you're 8-10 years old, what do you learn from it?
I think you just look to see what you could have did different. If you could have, you know, it's so tough to pass, could have maybe it gave up a little bit, but then, you know, you start to give up spots, and your competitors are going to learn that you'll give up the spot. So you try to go back and see if maybe I could have been a little bit more patient, or should I waited the next corner. But for both of those, I think they both wanted to not let the other one by and make the pass.
Saw a thumbs up there from the Road America team personnel after Ashton was talking to the EMT workers. So that's a good sign, as he'll now get a ride back into the paddock area. He'll take a look at the bike. He'll take a look at the replays, I'm sure, and get himself ready for the next time out. But for now, we go back to our race winner for the second time. Here's Cruz Texter. Big congratulations. What was different for this race for you?
There's a lot more kids, first of all. Well, it's more fun riding the 110 dirt bike, as I said. My start was pretty bad, but we made the pass.
How hard is it for you to transition from the dirt bike to the Ovale?
It's really hard. Like, you go onto a low bike and then you go onto a high bike. It's really different.
What is it that you have to think about when you go from bike to bike? Like, what's the biggest thing that you tell yourself?
I don't know.
You just feel it out.
Yeah.
You just ride with your feeling.
Yeah.
You mentioned you like the KLX 110 better. What makes it so much more fun for you?
Well, it's more close to a flat track bike, which means, well, like I have a lot of fun riding flat track, but I have more fun riding road, and the 110 is just like a flat track bike.
You made a big change this year in what you put your focus on, and doing a lot more road racing instead of as much dirt motocross and flat tracking. Why is that?
Well, there's better opportunities for road racing. Like, you make more money if you go to MotoGP, and that's what I want to do.
Do you think racing flat track helps you road racing?
Kind of, a little bit, yeah.
You can hear the riders getting ready for the next race that's out there with so many. You mentioned that there's a lot more kids out there in the stock 110 class. How does that make it harder or more fun?
Well, I just like passing more kids, and, well, if, like, I'm in second and the first place rider messes up in front of a lapper, I can pass them, and then, yeah.
You won 2 races today. Only thing left, went 2 more this afternoon. You think you can sweep the day?
Yeah, I think so. We'll try, at least.
At the start of that one, you did mention you didn't get a great start. What can you do better later on today?
Well, I got on the starting line, and I didn't let the clutch out fast enough. I went like brrrr.
Early on in that race, you looked like you were quicker, but you were really patient. Was that your plan?
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it when a plan works out. Congratulations on your race win here in the Stock 110 class.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see more of Cruz later on this afternoon. We'll take a look at the results here. Of course, Cruz with the win. Another podium result there for Chase Jazikoff and Barang Masanga there in third.
Yeah, we got Ethan Powers, Owen Smith, Bruno there in 6th, Sophia Smith, Julian Hackett, Zachary Tancredi, and Brandon Barretto.
Go back to 11th. Cooper Jazikoff able to come all the way from the tail end of the field up almost into the top 10. And then Alexander Androvsky there in 12th and Jira Masanga in 13th.
Yeah, Karina Tancredi there 14th, Marissa Gramo there 15th.
Riley Raines in 16th, Reese Ruette, Sucksai, Alan Clifton, and Ashton Alexander not able to finish this one, but able to get up and get back to the paddock. So we'll look for him to be out later on this afternoon. All right, let's take a look at the series of replays here, Roger.
Yeah, I see right. It just gets for Cruz, gets a really good run out of that last corner and Chase right there. What a great job just blocking that inside line there, knowing that Cruz is a little bit quicker than he is, was not going to leave the door open and make the pass easy. And now Cruz has got to go to work again and try to figure out where he can make it right here. And you see now it starts with this run coming up through the out of that first chicane, and now gets right up the inside of him. And didn't have to wait until they got in the corner, made it before they even got there. And from there, it's important, too, though, to pull out that little gap like Cruz did so he doesn't leave Chase an opportunity to try to maybe stuff him back.
A live look now at the riders getting ready for racing. we are back already to the GP 160 class. So we are getting ready for our second races for each of the 5 categories that are here this weekend. If you weren't watching with us earlier this afternoon, the GP 160 class, that was won by our pole sitter, Zal Farhand.
And just the pretty incredible pace we've seen out of him in practice and qualifying there, being over a second and a half quicker than everyone else. And now he's got to do it again, though, in this race and see if he can get another good start.
All right, let's take a look at the starting grid as riders are out for their siding laps. Zal Farhand, of course, our pole sitter, joined on the front row by Lambert Sue and Christian Berlowitz.
Tommy Molnar, Rylan Sy, and Cole Shannon.
Had great battles all throughout during race number 1. So we'll go back to row 3, and you'll find Arthur with Chase Jazikoff and Mason McIntyre. And then Xander Hillegas, Fran Masanga, and Israel Cavazos there on row 4. We'll round out our field of 15 in the GP 160 class with Kendall Leonard, Karina Tancredi, and Zayden Mahalko. It's really cool too, Roger. Not a whole lot of time has passed, a couple of hours since the first race of the weekend here for all of the classes, but here for the 160 class, we'll talk about, they don't have to wait long, and a lot of them have been able to get out in other classes as well.
Yeah, I think too for the other riders riding different bikes or getting more track time, and you know, I think that's the key. Not waiting all day. I think as a rider, even as a young kid, you don't want to sit around and start getting sleepy waiting toward the end of the day.
See the team members ready to meet them out on the grid, make sure everyone gets back to their grid positions. Riders again in the GP 160 class, ranging in age, it's easy for me to say, between the ages of 10 and 13 years old. Spike 17, Christian Berlowitz on the front row.
He's had a strong first races so far today. Zal, though, has really set the bar pretty high in this class as we look back and look at the highlights from GP 160 race 1. We mentioned it, Zal Farhand there, going to lead them through that first chicane on that first lap. There starts to put a little breathing room right away as the rest of the field makes it through that chicane nice and clean, and see him once he gets out front. That's all there was to it for him. Battle for second and third was starting to heat up all the way down toward the back of the pack. See Chase Jazikoff there working his way toward the middle of the pack, but it was all about for Zal out there out front, just putting the laps in. And you see that we had a good battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th as this race went on as well.
Lambert Sue finished the race, will finish the race in second. There was a big high side there in that race, race 1. Yep, that one ended under a red flag a few laps early. Rylan Sy was able to get up and walk back to the team.
Looks like he's going to make the
start.
start.
He's out there, yep. Right in the middle of row 2. So great to see Rylan brush it off and get back out there. It was Lambert Sue that finished in second, and then Christian Berlowitz rounding out the top 3 in race number 1.
Somebody's getting pushed off the track there. Hopefully they can get the bike started, maybe just stalled it.
All right, race 2 here for the GP 160 category. The rest of the field at the ready.
Big wheelie up to start for Christian there. He's going to lose a couple spots, but Zal, again, just such a good start.
That was his strategy in race 1 as well, just to get a great start and then start to open up a gap. And then he was able to just stay in control of the race. And knowing that the rest of the field is going to get a little bit closer here in race 2, it becomes a little bit of a bigger challenge for him. But You can see just how dominating he's already been in just the opening couple corners.
Even after the first race, he mentioned kind of looks back a little bit to manage the race, not trying to just consistently put in those really fast laps. He does that early on, and from there, just smart riding.
It's a 17 of Christian Berlowitz. So the battle for third. Tommy Molnar right in front of him as they come to the line at the end of the first lap. We didn't get the full race distance in race one, and there were a couple of riders, Roger, that were getting faster there at the end of the race. So we'll look to see here what race two offers.
Just gives you less time to make a pass if he's waiting toward the end of the race and that red flag came out. Didn't really work in your favor. But Christian right here looking up the inside, going down the hill. Just wasn't close enough. You can see, though, trying to set up his passes, going on the outside, going on the inside. Seeing where maybe he can make a pass. Early on in the race, going to be patient toward the end. Might not be so patient. Doing a great job after that big crash. Coming back, setting in fifth so far in this race. He's quicker than these two. He's starting to close down the gap.
Qualified in fifth as well. I love the tenacity, the ability to put it behind him and get back out there. There's the 20 bike. Get back out there. Recognize that anything can happen. Yes, you're only totaling points from 4 races this weekend here in the national final, but ultimately it's about gaining the experience and taking something away from it. And this is a big lesson to be able to, on the same day, just put your helmet back on and go.
And that's the big thing, and we see it on MotoAmerica weekends. Riders crash, next time on track is a race, and you got to figure out how to put that behind you, and that comes with practice and experience.
We also saw it, as recently as last weekend at Mid-Ohio, and a lot of times when a rider has a big moment, you think about Hayden Gillum, he got off of the bike and he rode angry. He said it after that. It can also push you when things don't go your way, and you know you could have done a lot better. You can use that mentality to push you as well. See Chase Jazikoff there in this battle, 6th, 7th, and 8th. He looks to make the move.
He was trying to sweep around the outside, let off the brakes. You see it pass there. Look at Chase. That's going to open the door maybe for him, but just not close enough.
He's right there to take advantage, and he is able to get it done. So just like that. So that's how quickly it can change. Just a couple of corners, and you can go from 6th to 8th. All right, this is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. See the 20, that's Ryland Sy.
Zaw last lap, 56.1, quicker than he went, almost 4/10 quicker than he went in race 1. So he's challenging himself. He's managing the gap, but he's also trying to challenge himself as well.
It's incredible when you're able to push yourself without the external pressure, that internal pressure. At such a young age, it's going to carry him far. Just 10 years old, Thousand Oaks, California, with the over 3-second lead and 5.5 laps to go here in race number 2.
See Christian, he's eyeing up a couple spots here as he get toward the last corner. This is where he's really strong. You see he's trying to go outside. He's going to go inside and then cut under coming out of this corner. See that run he tries to get, see if he can try to get that run up the inside, and just wasn't close enough.
Tommy Molnar's doing a great job sitting in 3rd place right now, defending that position, but racing hard and racing smart.
You see Christian sliding the rear. He's trying to get a good drive up the hill. Just gotta go to work again. Same position as last lap. I think now, though, he kind of knows where he might be able to make a move. He's not close enough here. Same thing, he's going to go outside, be on the inside here, try to cut under 2 corners to go. It's just impressive to see him able to try to set those passes up so early, knowing where he's going to be able to do it right now. He sees him going to go wide and try to just get the best run possible out of the last corner, but now he's going to be a little wide.
Both of these riders, 11 years old. Tommy Molnar coming to us from Canada.
And Zoll's best lap was a 55.7 actually, and that's quicker than he qualified. He qualified at a 56.0, race 1, 56.5, so almost a second quicker.
That's what he was able to do all day long. I mean, you also consider from the first session that they had out on the track yesterday up into that qualifying position, he'd already made up almost 6 seconds, not 6/10 of a second, 6 seconds from P1 to the end of qualifying, and then to continue to lower that each and every time out here in race trim as well. It's really impressive. But all of these riders have been able to push each other and make up some ground. It's fun to see how much closer they are also taking their lessons from race 1.
Tommy's doing a great job too by not leaving the door open for Christian there, blocking the insides, trying to make him go around the outside, which is much harder to do.
Yeah, Tommy mentioned from Canada, he's coming from British Columbia, while Christian Berlowitz out of Somerset, New Jersey.
Lap traffic though, we've seen that come into play today. Both of them getting by this one clean.
Yep, one more. The battle continues. Other riders doing a great job also.
See, those two in the pack that they were in, you could tell they didn't have the opportunity to be patient. They had to both make that pass.
There's not enough racing left to wait until the next time by. Just 2 laps to go. The gap right now between these 2 riders and Zal Farhan, who continues to lead. About 11 seconds, 18 seconds actually up to the race lead. It's Lambert Sue who is sitting in second, running a kind of lonely race at this point for him. He's 7 seconds behind Zal and another 11 seconds ahead of this battle for third.
And Zal's not slowing down even with that 7-second lead. Last lap, another 55.8.
All right, white flag is out up front. You can see no pressure behind for our race leader, Zal Farhan. There is second place of Lambert Sue. You can see how lonely it is there in that second position for bike 777. For Zal Farhan, 10 years old. He has a ton of experience racing all over the world, gives all the credit to his parents and what they do for him to be able to ship the bike overseas and book the flights and get him there, get themselves there, continue to work on the bike. He certainly, I mean, obviously at 10 years old, he can't do it by himself, but they're giving him the opportunity and he is taking full advantage.
Yeah, and again, the last lap, 55.4, just the way he challenged himself, even with that big lead, to find that little bit extra, but not go too far. And all that experience, he mentioned it pays off, and that's why his parents put all that work in us for days like today.
He comes to the line, he stands it up, takes the checkered flag here in race 2 for GP 160. Zal Farhan with another commanding win. Big congratulations also to Lambert Sue for his second place finish. But here is that battle for third on the final lap going into the final corner. 2 riders not wanting to let the other one get the point.
Got to pick it up.
It's going to be Rylan Sy who is able to get to the stripe first. He will take home third place honors. Here comes Chase Jazikoff and Artur Pino Castel there in 4th and 5th. Meanwhile, the 2 riders that were right there all race long, continuing to watch the rest of the field continue to cycle by.
You can see both of them, smart move, trying to get back in the race, although every point's going to be important.
Christian Berlowitz finishing in 9th, and then Tommy Molnair able to take home 10th place points. But you could see the frustration from rider to rider there in that battle, and continuing now on the cool down lap.
Yeah, it just felt like he was a little too aggressive. You can just see the disappointment. Had a good race going.
There's a lot learned in these moments too, Roger.
Yeah, there's definitely, you learn a lot. And, you know, you can, if you're a rider that maybe were the one that was a little too aggressive, you'll learn from that.
Take a look at the results here for race 2. Zal Farhan with his second victory of the day. Lambert Sue in second, and Chase Jazikoff finishing in 4th. But Rylan Tsai, after not finishing race number 1, able to go out there and finish 3rd. That's great.
Really impressive. That was a big crash. It wasn't like it was a low side. I mean, that was a high side. Could possibly be maybe one of his biggest crashes. Laid there for a while and able to go out, put it behind him, and still end up with a 3rd place. Big points day. Some people in front of him had some issues as well.
And because of that, anything can happen. So for those 2 riders that were battling for 3rd to pick up the bike and get themselves back out there and collect points, finishing inside of the top 10, that could pay dividends come the end of the day tomorrow. So for the GP 160 class, Roger, done and dusted for day 1 of racing here in the national final. Thinking about the overnight and what they can do now going forward as we take another look at this incident here on the final lap. What do you think?
Yeah, Christian just got in a little deep there, and you know, he was trying to make the lunge. The door wasn't maybe as open as he thought, and just got into him. And you know, sometimes as a rider, you make a mistake, and everybody's been there. And the rider in front's going to be disappointed because it's kind of, you know, when it's not your fault, it's a little harder to take. But it's just two young riders, and you know, mistakes are going to be made.
One thing that is not different, though, here in race number 2 is that our race winner, the same rider from earlier today, Zal Farhan, congratulations on another dominating victory. You went even quicker this time out.
Yeah, thank you so much for the support.
You didn't slow down this race. Last time you got your big lead and you kind of managed it. This race, was the goal just to keep saying how hard you could push yourself?
Yeah, because my dad at the end of the first race, he told me you got to go faster. You can't be slowing down, because if you get on lappers and you get stuck behind them, then the second place is going to catch up to you and pass you.
When you don't have anybody that you're chasing and you're the one that's setting the pace, and then to be able to go inside of your own head and say, no, I've got to do what my dad said. I've got to go faster. Where do you get that push from?
I mean, I just pushed and rode on the limits. I mean, I tested different things, tested how late I could brake, how early I could get on the gas, where I had to be in a different gear and everything.
Tomorrow we switch directions. You feel just as comfortable on that track as well?
Yeah, I think I'll feel as comfortable on the backwards track because I like both the circuits, but yeah, I think I'll be good on both.
You know, in the overnight that a lot of riders are going to go back and they're going to watch what they did. They're going to think about what they did here on day 1 and come out a little bit quicker tomorrow. What can you do to improve overnight?
I think I can go back, look at the videos from Friday and see where I was faster, where I was slower than the other riders, and just ride tomorrow, see how I can improve, and hopefully I win both races again.
When you look at the videos and you're trying to learn and get better, what is it you're exactly looking at?
I mean, I'm looking at how much I press on the rear brake, where I brake, where I lean in, if I have to keep a wider line. I check my line. I mean, honestly, I check everything.
Well, we look forward to seeing you back out at the racetrack tomorrow. 2 more races. Make sure you get a good night's sleep, all right?
Okay, thank you.
All right, congratulations. Yes, you can, absolutely.
Okay, can I say 2 more things?
Yep.
Thank you so much, Jay Still, for the celebration. And then thank you to all my sponsors, OGO, Cardo, HAC, and Dunlop.
All right. Can't do it without those sponsors and friends like Jay Still. That's excellent. All right, we'll see you back here tomorrow for 2 more races. Congratulations to Zal Farhand, our leader after the first day.
Just impressive, the lap times, and you know, his dad's right. Sometimes when you get out front, you can't slow down. You got to keep the gas on. You never know what can happen.
Our next group that will be out to the racetrack will be the young ones. I mean, they're all young, though, right? The youngest of all of the ones. It'll be Stock 50 that's next out to the racetrack. Riders between the ages of 6 and 8 years old on the Stock 50 bikes. So the riders are all making their way down and exiting pit lane effectively. We'll take a look at our starting grid. Our pole sitter, Cooper Jazikoff with Marcus Sue and Kyle King.
Row 4, Alexander. Middle, row 2, Carter Blackner and Maximus Nolan.
Go back to row 3, and there is Colton Parker, Ronan Akrop, and Maverick Taranketti.
Gene West, Travis Bryant, Aileen Abbs.
Go back to row 5, and we will round out our field of 14 riders that are here this weekend. Cooper Jazikoff was able to win race number 1, competing in multiple classes.
He had pressure, though, the whole race. We'll see if Marcus can't make a couple adjustments and see if he can get the win this time. Marcus has had plenty of track time. He's been in a couple races so far today.
That's the other great thing about this format is there is overlap. There's minimum ages for each of the different platforms, but there's enough overlap that riders can come in and get experience on multiple bikes over the course of the 2 days. Well, this is race 2 here for the Stock 50 riders. So while they get into their grid positions and we get a warm-up lap underway, Roger, let's take a look back at the highlights from race 1.
Yeah, race 1, looking at the highlights with Cooper Jazikoff on pole position. But Marcus, great jump for him in the middle of the front row. See a little issue shifting as they go through the chicane. But right there, he's going to be able to lead them up the hill early on. You can see the Jazikoff there. Just those two are just a little bit quicker than the rest of the group. Little riders, little issue getting through the first chicane, but Cooper makes the move early on, gets out in the lead, and from there, Marcus, the whole race, was just hounding him. They were both a little bit stronger in each part of the track and just never was able to get close enough to make a pass, and other battles throughout the field through there all the way throughout the pack for these guys. But Cooper, once he got out front, you see, look over there, he wants to kind of manage, see how far he's got the lead toward the end of the race. He looked back, but he's seen Marcus the whole time, so he could never slow down. Another little look back, and from there, it's going to be a fist in the air and a victory.
Yeah, big celebration coming out of Cooper Jazikoff after that Stock 50 victory. I was pretty cool, but now the rest of the field has seen it. They have a little bit more experience, and we'll see if anyone can get just a little bit closer. 7 laps for these Stock 50 riders, so it's not as long of a race, Roger, but you see it. They know that as well. They're a little more aggressive also.
Yeah, and for these young riders, 10 laps would be a really long time. You know, you think about them getting a little, trying to focus for that long.
Well, and the weight of the helmet on their little 6-year-old bodies for 10 laps. I mean, at 6 years old, Roger, if somebody said that you could have gone out and done a national final in road racing, how many years in a row would you have jumped at the opportunity?
Probably from, I can promise you, my dad would have had us here the very first year. We were able to do it, and like some of the other kids doing every class possible.
On hand-me-down bikes, and everything else. And I love that part of the conversation when we were in the paddock earlier, very quickly before we get out for racing. For everybody that wasn't there listening to this conversation, Roger was talking to Cooper Jazikoff, and Cooper was talking about how this bike used to be his brother's bike. Now he gets to ride it, and Roger said, listen, you're the youngest brother. You're going to get all the hand-me-downs. I know that for a fact, but it makes you better. You have a benchmark. You know what your brother's out there doing, and you're able to push yourself and go and do the same.
And that's the benefit of getting the bikes. You know, not buying it for just one kid. You got it to hand me down to the next one.
Everyone is back into their positions. That was the 66 you just saw there of Marcus Sue. He had a great first race, had a great start in race 1. We'll see if he can do it all again. Here we go, race number 2, stock 50. Marcus is really good getting off the line.
Yeah, really good getting through getting out of first gear off the line, and see what Cooper's able to do from here. Last lap, he was pretty aggressive early on.
Everyone able to get through that first section of corners better here in race number 2. That's great to see. So we'll have them all out there now, 7 laps ahead. This uphill on a stock 50 bike, it seems like they're, you know, they're full throttle. They're like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then they get to the corner, and then you can see how hard they push to go back downhill.
This is where Cooper made the pass last race. He's going to try it again as well, but Marcus not going to give him the spot. Cooper has to go off track. Marcus wasn't giving it up this time.
No, he already did that once, and he saw the result, and he knows that he wants to get a race win also. There's 4 races here this weekend, you know, of course the 2 today and then 2 tomorrow, and he wants to go into the overnight with the chance of going for a title tomorrow. Sending Cooper off into the grass, that's opened up a gap now between these 2 riders.
And Cooper did a good job when he got out in the grass, not panicking. It's really easy to get out there and maybe walk up a break. He kind of got his stuff back under him, and now he's got to put his head down.
You can see it's dry out there in the grass as well, so he didn't have to contend with sliding through wet grass or anything like that, and able to keep it up on 2 wheels.
This is where Cooper is just so strong in this left-hander. You can just visually see how much time he makes up through there. Kyle Kane there, nice little battle. You can hear him dragging the foot pegs.
This is the battle for 3rd.
Just these young guys don't know, you know, they don't lean off the bike a lot, but they have a lot of lean angles, so you hear them dragging the pegs. You got to be careful. You don't want to drag them too much. It can cause you to slide out.
You can see him leaned over a little bit more, though, in race 2 compared to race 1 earlier today. You can see him leaning with their knee just a little bit more. 67 of Alexander Androvsky leading over the 26 of Kyle Kane.
Kyle, though, got through the chicane a little bit.
Oh, they're elbow to elbow. Rubbing is racing, right, Roger?
That's right.
All right, Kyle Kane now with the point. Does he have enough to defend? Kyle Kane, 7 years old, out of Ontario, California. Alexander Androvsky, 7 years old, out of Cape Madge, New Jersey. 2 different sides of the country coming together here in mid-America.
Literally coming together.
Yes. Yep. Bringing the 2 coasts elbow to elbow. There's Marcus Sue that continues to lead up front over Cooper Jazikoff.
He had 1.4 last lap. We'll see. Looks like Cooper's closed it down a little bit. 1.2, 109.7. I believe that's quicker than they went in the first race.
It's the quickest race lap now being given to Cooper Jazikoff. So the pace a little bit quicker this time. We did just hear from Zalfarhan, though, that the track conditions seem to be a little bit better also, so that could be playing a role. There's the 66 of Marcus Sue. See him look over his shoulder.
Keep your head down, he's coming.
You know, the other thing, Roger, I thought about was, as you and I sit and we watch the MotoAmerica races side by side, a lot of times, especially with some of the younger riders, they develop the habit of putting their foot out a lot, and we talk about that. They try to keep their foot on the peg the more and more they continue to go. Having the opportunities to come out and do more and more race weekends with a bigger audience here on the road racing, is that one of those things that maybe that habit goes away?
No, I think once they get on the bigger bikes and they get a lot more speed and trying to slow down more, that's where you're going to kind of see that foot start to come out. At this age, Jamie, they're trying to just get their knee down.
Here comes Cooper Jazikoff on bike 423, closing up that gap to Marcus Sue. It went from 1.2 seconds down to less than 0.3 of a second in just one lap. So Cooper is definitely pushing. As you see Marcus look over his shoulder again.
It's Cooper's spot right here is where they came together a couple laps ago. Again, Marcus not going to let him have it. Great defensive riding.
Cooper keeps it on the racing surface this time. It's going to keep them together here, not open up another gap. Just 3 laps to go, less than 3 laps to go.
You can see since Marcus has looked back and seen Cooper was right there, he has put his head down. You can see in his body language, he's starting to push a little harder.
Marcus can hear it. He just needs to know how close is he. Now, 2 laps to go. The gap is now down to less than 0.2 of a second, but you can see it on the screen just how close it is. Marcus in full defensive mode right now as they've got some lap traffic up ahead for these young riders. This is where it can make a difference. Able to get through those two, stay together.
Going to get a little bit tighter through here. Goes right under both those two. Cooper gets held up just a little bit.
Take some of the pressure off of Marcus right here when he needs it the most, because this is where Cooper is the strongest.
Going to be a last lap shootout. We know where Cooper's spot is. You're going to see this lap since it's going to be his last try.
White flags out. This is the final lap here for the Stock 50 racers. Marcus Sue continuing to lead, but Cooper Jazikoff is right on his rear wheel.
Cooper's looked at the outside a couple times through this quick chicane and try it now. He's just not close enough. Now he's going to be on the inside at the top of the hill, able to make the pass. Marcus going to dive under. Look at them leaning into each other.
We are side by side. The final lap. It is Cooper Jazikoff now who leads over Marcus Sue. I thought Marcus was going to go to the inside. He was ready, just not close enough. This is a good battle between these two riders.
Really good battle. First race was a good battle, but this one's much better. Cooper does it.
They come to the line. Cooper Jazikoff needs to keep both those hands on the bars. Marcus Sue was right there. And as they come to the line, who will finish third? It will be with a dance across the stripe. Kyle Kang will take home that third position. Alexander Androvsky finishing in 4th. Great runs here for these young riders. And you know, I joke, I say Cooper needs to keep both hands on the bars as he's celebrating at the stripe, but it's really cool just to see the celebration out of these young riders and just the pureness of it and how excited they are for themselves.
Just fun to see the kid come out. You know,
Yep.
You kind of forget how young they are.
Did you see Kyle Kane come across? Standing up dancing? I love that. It's supposed to be fun.
3rd places for him.
Yep, what a great first day here for the youngest riders on the property as Cooper Jazikoff continues to celebrate. He didn't lead all of the laps today, certainly, here in the second race, but he led the one that counts. Right to the stripe. Take a look at the results here for race 2 in Stock 50. Go outside of the top 4. Carter Blackner finishing in 5th. Ronan Acrop there in 6th. That's a good jump up for him. And Colton Parker in 7th.
Maximus Nolan, Gene West, Maverick Tancredi rounding out the top 10.
Maverick didn't finish race 1, so that's good for him to be able to get up there as well. Travis Bryant in 11th, Eileen Abbs in 12th, and Aiden Cavazos in 13th. So for Cooper Jazikoff, 2 race wins here in the Stock 50 class. We know he's going to be back out in just a little bit to get on the Stock 110 machine, but just 8 years old, great opening day.
Great opening day. Great interview. I can't wait to listen to him again.
See all the parents, the family members, everyone out there to help these young riders get their bikes parked in Park for May.
It's cool also seeing the parents helping other riders with, you know, kids in 2 different classes or 2 different riders out there grabbing their bikes and just pitching in to help other people out.
But then also to see so many familiar faces from the MotoAmerica family in terms of the organization and just race direction. It's not just a branding thing. This is an all-in. This is a part of the MotoAmerica family.
It's all in. This is where it starts. And then, you know, they're trying to make the push, and this is where it begins. And being on TV, too, you know, people get to watch. I mean, you got to think about these young riders doing interviews and stuff.
Young Cooper Jazikoff getting over to the interview area. We'll get the headset on. After a big race win. All right, Cooper, I want to hear it. We heard you with the helmet on. We saw you celebrating. Give us your best let's go.
Let's go!
There you go. That's awesome. Congratulations on another race win here in the Stock 50 category. What was different this time? This one you had to work really hard for.
Yeah, I had a bad start. Well, basically, I had a bad start, but when I was going, Marcus got in front of me. We went, and I tried to make the pass where I always make the pass. I went in the grass. He kind of got in front of me, and then I waited until the last lap, and I got right up to him and passed him on the bridge, and like I always do.
What do you say to yourself? We see you when you come across the start-finish line and you start bouncing up and shaking your hand. What are you saying to yourself?
Like, let's go. I'm so happy. And
Okay, you said you had a bad start, but you were going pretty hard there. Did you have a bad start, or do you think Marcus just had a better start?
Marcus had a better start, definitely.
What'd you think when you went out into the grass?
I was like, oh no, I have to go.
When you came across the line, you said that you waited until the last lap. Were you being patient, or could you just not get around him?
I was being patient.
What do you do until your next race?
Tomorrow?
Today.
Oh. I don't know.
Let's talk about that next race. You told us after you won this first race earlier that you only do these Stock 50 races to get yourself ready to learn for the 110 bike. You came from the back of the pack. You passed so many bikes to finish right in the mid-pack. What can you do now to go even further up on the 110?
I don't know. Just try to do my best on the 110 and get whatever.
Just see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was awesome. That was a fun race to watch. Great job on the Stock 50. Big congratulations.
Thank you.
Great to talk to you again. We'll see you later, okay?
Okay.
All right, that is our race winner, Cooper Jazikoff, for the second time today here in the Stock 50 category. What a cool kid. You asked him, Roger, what he said to himself when he went through the grass, and you can almost hear him saying it out loud, not just in his head. Oh no! What would you have been saying to yourself at various points in the race?
Probably the same thing, and I like his interviews too. He gives really good interview for such a young kid. gives a long answer. Really remember. It's amazing how much he can remember that whole race, what happened when he ran off track and where he made a pass and what he did on each lap.
That's what amazes me about all of you riders. That I bet I could ask you about a particular race from 20 years ago, and you would probably remember just as much.
It is. It's pretty crazy, the stuff that you can remember.
Oh, look at him still celebrating out the window over there. But as we get ourselves forward now for the GP 110 race, this is another one where there's a lot on the line for these young riders. I mean, all of the classes, number one played at the end of the race weekend, but we had great battles in the 110 class earlier.
Yeah, and for all of the classes, it's just been really tough or fun to watch this year because it's so competitive. One of the couple Zal, really fast in that, but looking down through the pack, it is really tightened up this year from the previous years where we have really big battles all the way throughout the whole race.
We'll take a look at the starting grid now for the GP 110 category. Our pole sitter, Cruz Texter, Christian Berlowitz there in second, and Chase Jazikoff in third.
Bruno Balanas fourth, Cole Shannon there fifth, and Marcus Sue.
Go back to row 3, and there's Ashton Alexander with Xander Hillegas and Camden Dill.
Nico Bendel, Bron Masanga, and Julian Hackett.
Row 5, finish out our field of 15 is Israel Cavazos, Zachary Tancredi, and Owen Smith. It was Cruz Texter who was able to take top honors in race 1. But it was less than half a second separating himself from Christian Berlowitz, and that's what he said. He talked about after the race that it was a fun battle being up front. Now having that experience and everyone being out there together, how much closer can it get?
I think it can get closer, and I think he knows now that it wasn't an easy win. It just barely was able to make the win. Has to do the same thing again. It really starts with getting off the line really well, get through that chicane.
Those two were really close in qualifying as well. You might have noticed it on the starting grid. Less than 0.2 of a second separated them. In terms of their best lap time in qualifying, it was 0.02 of a second that separated them in their best race lap in race number 1. So very closely matched. As you see Cruz Texter put the visor down. There's the 17 of Christian Berlowitz. Right, as they get up to speed for their warm-up lap, Roger, here are the highlights.
Yeah, here's the battle that you were talking about. You see Christian there gets a really good jump, but Cruz is able to make it through that chicane and make it up through the hill. The top two early on was able to pull away with that battle with Chase Jazikoff, Cole, and Bruno there early. Right here as they all get through the chicane again. Marcus Sue there, another rider doing multiple classes as well. See here looking up the inside, able to make the pass through there and also make it stick. Christian makes a pass as well, but Cruz is able to cut right back under. These two just went back and forth, and for Cruz, just that last lap wasn't leaving any of the doors open. Christian was trying to find a spot to go through, but he was never close enough to be able to make it happen.
For Cruz Texter, he was able to win on both the GP 110 and the stock 110 bike. Lots of experience here today. Some of the riders, Roger, doing as many as 3 classes. Chase Jazikoff, one of those riders that's doing 3 of them, and he was able to finish in the top 3 here on the GP 110 earlier. It's a long day.
It's a long day. Think about yesterday, too. They had a day of practice as well, but he's getting a lot of track time.
Cruz Texter, just 8 years old, is also the pole sitter once we get to that second race for the stock 110 category as well. So he's got a lot of speed. He's put a lot of focus on his road racing over the last 12 months, and it's showing here this weekend for the Mini Cup National Final. Everyone is back around to their grid positions. Race number 2 for the GP 110 underway. Cruz Texter with a great start.
Christian willied a little bit off the line. You see he actually lost the spot, so he's slid down to 3rd.
Bruno Bolanos able to get up there, but for Christian, this is a 10-lap race and can't win it off the line. Able to get back around, but you look at Cruz and these opening laps where Cruz is able just to put his head down and not have to defend anybody. You can really see how comfortable he is this season on a road bike.
And that just comes down to confidence from the practice that he's talked about. That just spending so much more time on the bike. And that first lap just comes down to your confidence, and Cruz has it now. And winning these races, he's just going to keep that confidence going.
Bruno Bolanos on the 95, sitting in second after a great start to this second race. He had a top 5 finish in race number 1. It's a little bit different. It's going to be a long 9 laps.
Yeah, and for Christian, needs to make a pass pretty soon. You see Cruz right now just pulling out just a little bit each lap. Chase Jazikoff's doing a great job keeping second and third right in front of us.
Watching Christian on the tail end of Bruno Bolanos, what's different in their riding style?
Well, it just looks like for Christian, he uses a little bit more racetrack. He gets a really good run, but he hasn't able to. See, he kind of comes back left, tries to get the run up the hill. A little bit bigger too. You can tell that the rider size. So going up this hill, he's gonna, struggle just a little bit. You see here looking up the inside, just not close enough.
Bruno Bolanos on the 95, just 8 years old. Christian Berlowitz on the 17 is 11 years old. So that's that size difference. Cruz Texter continuing to lead up front. The gap to the rest of the field now over 2 seconds in the opening 2 laps. His best lap so far is a 58.1. His best lap in the first race was a 58.4. So with no pressure behind, look at that gap. He continues to open it up here on lap 3. Just continuing to push himself as he gets more and more comfortable with this road course style bike. This battle for second, though, continuing to heat up.
Christian's tried to make a couple passes, and he's kind of left the door open, kind of vulnerable on the inside. See how he goes left? Chase looks up the inside. That's the tough part. You're trying to make a move, but sometimes you're leaving the door open for the guy behind you.
Chase is sitting there watching all of this and go ahead, you guys keep going. I'm gonna bide my time and see what is left to take at the end. There's the 26 of Cruz Texter with that gap to second continuing to grow. That time by, he was a 58.3.
About to 5.5 seconds. See Christian through here, through this chicane. See, a little different line. He's going to try to drop up the inside through there. He tries to look at this pass the last couple of laps. He just needs to be a little bit closer to kind of make that launch. Now he looks back and knows he's got someone right behind him.
It's not just about what's ahead of him right now. He's aware of the fact that Chase Jazikoff is right there to be able to take advantage. Again, this is the battle for second. You got second, third, and fourth going for same parts of the racetrack all together. Cruz Texter that last time by, the only rider so far in that 58 range. So out there running his own pace, pushing himself, opening the gap now to over 6 seconds between this battle for second. Bruno Bolanos continuing the defense with Christian Berlowitz right there behind him.
You can tell he's just trying to stay as close as possible to maximize those parts of the track where he's a little bit quicker. It's the last corner where Christian, even the previous race with Cruz through here, look how early he gets on the throttle and the momentum he gets. Just kind of had to shut off a little bit. Bruno moves over.
He carries that momentum, but then he gets to this section of the racetrack where they have to go uphill and at a little bit of a disadvantage. It's where Bruno Bolanos is able to get back and keep him behind him. While this battle for second continues, Cruz Texter continues to open up that gap. Look at the progression, Roger, from lap 3 at 3.5 seconds to where we are now at nearly 6.5 seconds. Cruz has nothing to worry about at this point.
Yeah, this is a much different race for him compared to race 1. He had pressure the whole race. Now he's kind of no pressure from behind him, can do his own thing. And see if Christian tries to wind up that pass again, not close enough this lap. Looks up the inside. Big Cruz, 6.5 second lead.
He started to back off of the pace as well. That last lap, he was at 59.6. So there's no need to continue to push the envelope when you have a 6.5 second lead and don't want to force any mistakes. So we'll continue to watch that progression for Cruz Texter, but this battle for second between Bruno Bolanos and Christian Berlowitz continuing, but Chase Jazikoff, so impressive, able just to stay right there. He's not necessarily pressuring either one of them, but he is right there to pounce.
There he
Should
goes,
anyone make a mistake, yep. Is it gonna be enough here in traffic for Chase Jazikoff to hold the point? Bruno got through there really nicely also.
That was a great pass by Chase. I mean, he went for it, made it stick. That's what you got to do. If a little bit of a door's open, you got to go.
So now Christian is on the tail end of this battle. Second, third, and fourth right here together.
They're going to continue to get in lap traffic as well as this race starts to wind down. Look at Cooper. He's going to try to make a move again. Makes it, runs him wide.
Runs him wide. He gets it done. That opened the door for Christian.
Cooper's not afraid to stick it in there.
No, Cooper watched. He watched Christian not able to make those passes, and the whole time he was learning. He was learning where it can be done and how much aggression it was going to take, and look at him do it.
Yeah, I mean, he just went for it. The door was open, and he took it. Barely open at that.
All right, so white flag is out for our race leader, Cruz Texter, with a commanding lead on this one at 6.6 seconds. Chase Jazikoff has settled into second place, but this battle continuing here on the final lap. Bruno Bolanos sitting in third, Christian Berlowitz in fourth. That's what 6.6 seconds looks like on the racetrack, Roger.
It's a big lead for Cruz. He can look out, look to his right, coming out of that right-hander and see the gap he has behind him.
It's the other great thing for these racers about being on tracks like this is the fact that you can see other corners and other sections of it and just become more aware of where everybody else is.
See, look to the left a little bit there. Seeing where the rest of the pack is.
For Cruz Texter, for the third time today, collecting a race win. This is second one here in the GP 110, but who finishes second? It goes to Chase Jazikoff there on the last lap all the way to the line. Bruno Bolanos finishing in third. The 17 still out on the racetrack. That is Christian Berlowitz with an issue there right at the end of the race.
Fell down in the left-hander, went picked his bike back up, still ends up fourth.
0.00 of a second between Chase Jazikoff and Bruno Bolanos when it came to the stripe. Great race for the two of them.
Here it is, the third rider in your screen there. You see, he just loses the front end. Too much front brake as he was getting into that left-hander.
Great for him to be able to have done all of that hard work and opened up a gap also on the rest of the field to still take home fourth place here in race number 2 and minimize the effects of that tip over.
He was in fourth and finished fourth, so no loss.
Yep.
Just smart to go get the bike up, especially when you got races in a point system.
Every point matters here in this 4-race format this weekend. In the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final, that was the GP 110 category. Take a look at the full race results here. Outside of the top 4, we go to 5th. Cole Shannon able to finish in 5th. Marcus Sue there in 6th.
Ashton Alexander there in 8th. Braun Masanga at 9th. Camden Deal
Rounds out our top 10. Then you have Julian Hackett, Israel Cavazos, Zachary Tancredi, Owen Smith, and Nico Bandel rounding out the top 15. Nico, though, was not able to get out there today. Remember, he had that issue earlier in race number 1. That's a big blow. It's his 9th birthday. I hate that for him.
Yeah.
Make all that effort to get out here and have such high hopes for the weekend. Look forward to seeing him out here tomorrow. Hopefully he can make the call for the races that we have on day 2, where we'll flip the track and run it backwards.
That's right.
All the bikes getting over to Park Ferme. You see Cruz Texter right there in the middle of the shot with his dad, Corey Texter, celebrating another victory.
Undefeated for the day.
That is pretty awesome for that young rider. All right, he has the headset on. Congratulations, Cruz. This one was a little bit different for you. There was no pressure from the time that this race started. How did you keep pushing yourself?
Well, I got to start good, and I just pushed really hard for 3 laps. And I saw that I had a big gap, so I just slowed up a little bit and managed the gap.
Cruz, we seen you looking to the right a couple of times. Were you just seeing where the competitors were at?
Yeah, I was.
Was that the goal going in, just to have a really good 3 laps, or was that something that you thought about once you had that really good start?
Well, I wasn't expecting me to have that big of a gap. I was expecting them to be right on me. But, yeah, I just thought of that when I was out there.
What's going through your head this race when you have such a big lead?
I just need to stay focused and slow up a little bit, make sure I don't tuck the front or slide out.
You told us earlier that you're a little more comfortable on the stock 110 bike. When you had that opportunity to be out there all by yourself without any pressure on the Ovale, were you able to learn a few things?
Yeah.
What'd you pick up on?
My body position, my lines, and everything else.
You say your body position. What are you trying to hang off the bike a little bit more?
Yeah.
So what do you do now in the overnight time? Tomorrow we come back, you have more races, but the track goes backwards. How do you get yourself ready for that?
Just look at track maps, figure out the lines to do, and yeah.
You did practice sessions with both of the track layouts yesterday. Which one did you like best?
Probably layout B.
Okay, so tomorrow.
Yeah.
Even more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on a great first day here. Undefeated.
Yep. Wait, before we end, I would like to thank my sponsors.
Go ahead.
Jerry Stinchfield, Fremerton Yamaha, Rye Helmets, Kent Grimmel, Shay and Breyer, my mom, my dad, my Bobo, Speed.
Great. Great
Yep.
job.
Yep.
Great job. All right. Well, big congratulations. We'll look for more tomorrow.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. As our race winner for the GP 110 class. Great opening day for young Cruz Texter.
Yeah. Pole position, both classes, so far undefeated.
He mentioned his aunt and uncle earlier. They're out in Sturgis.
Yep, Briar. He's got some good people to ask questions and look up to, that's for sure.
Yep. It is a big family out here, though, isn't it?
Yep, and he's part of a racing family. Corey's dad raced, Corey's raced, sister raced, brother-in-law. So it's in the blood.
Yep. But you can see how bad he wants it too, though.
You can just see the improvement from last year to this year is just about putting work in. You know, it's not, you know, luck or anything like that. It's just he's put the work in, and the improvement's there, and we'll see what he can do. And just looks like a totally different rider than what we've seen last year.
All right, next up will be race number 2 for the GP 190 class. And with the track open for the sighting lap, we can go ahead and take a look at our starting grid. 10 riders entered here in the GP 190 category. Jay Still will lead them with Connor Raymond and Maverick Johnson on row 1.
Leading row 4, Dexter, Parker Boosie, and Arter.
Go to row 3, you'll find Mason McIntyre, Alejandro Velez Gonzalez, and Alex Alberton.
Case Parsley.
That rounds out our field of 10. Let's talk about Connor Raymond for a moment. We heard from him at the start of the day, talking about how he always finishes second. He's always looking in, looking forward to getting his first number 1 plate, getting some victories here this weekend. Finished second in race number 1. What can he do, you think, in race 2?
I think the big improvement can be the first opening laps. That's really where Jace broke the pack right out of the gate, even the very first lap. So now his improvement just has to be that first lap, and you know, trying to find those couple tenths where Jace is gaining on him.
Well, it was our pole sitter, Jay Still, that won. Let's take a look back at the highlights from race 1.
And just mentioning about that first lap, you see Jace right there, just such a good start for him. Maverick also a great start on the outside, works his way into second, but you just see the gap already so early that Jace is able to pull out. Right there, Maverick was in second for a lot of the race with Connor chasing him down. It looks right here, they were just kind of seesawing back and forth. Each one had their best parts of the track. Maverick's the race winding down. Connor starts to get a little bit closer and closer for them as they go through this first chicane. Connor was really fast through there up the hill. Then we get some lap traffic, and right here, really unfortunately for Maverick, went around the outside, Connor went on the inside, and it worked out a little bit better for Connor, and he's able to make the pass, and then Maverick was the one trying to make the move, but Jay Steele just out front goes on to the victory.
He was able to celebrate big time for that one. We actually heard from Zolfarend after he won his race earlier today, saying thanks to Jay Still for the celebration. I don't know what that's all about, but Jay Still definitely knows how to celebrate, and that was a really cool moment for him. 10 laps here in the GP 190 class for what should be the most experienced riders on the property. The opportunity for getting Talent Cup entry fees covered for next season. That's a great prize package. Elements here, in addition to, of course, the #1 plate, the big contingency from all of the other sponsors as well.
And it has to be encouraging for these guys to see, you know, what the Kenzie's did, and also Nathan able to come here and win and make that transition and be competitive right out of the gate, showing that this series does work.
Yep, those two riders are going for a championship now over in the MotoAmerica paddock. But right now, it is time for race 2 in the GP 190 category. Everyone is at their grid positions. We are racing here in race number 2. A little bit of a wheelie there for Jay Still on the 97.
Much better start for Connor Raymond, though, right where he needs to be. He's got to latch on and stay right there on the back of Jace.
Jace had a big gap in race number 1. The rest of the field not wanting to allow that to happen here in race 2. They've got to stay closer, and so far through these opening corners, they've been able to do just that. But there's a good battle already starting to develop here for second.
They've kept Jace a lot closer this opening lap. They could not go back and forth if they start battling Maverick and Connor. That's just going to do Jace a bit of a favor and let him squeak away.
Connor Raymond in second. Maverick Johnson in third. The tail end of lap 1, though, Jace was able to start opening up a gap. You can see it continuing to grow, and they're not going back and forth. They just got to put the head down and continue to push.
See Maverick looking up the inside. Just not close enough. It looks like he might have a little more pace early on in this race.
Rider with an issue off to the side. Can't tell which number that is.
Back in the race, though.
Yep, able to get it back on the track. So go back to the front. That was bike 49, Parker Busey, running in 5th when that happened. So we'll see where he's able to make up some ground.
Dexter's doing a good job this race, keeping these guys right in sight. It's a little bit further down in the first race, but this one is a much more improvement.
Yeah, by the time the first race ended, he was nearly 14 seconds behind the race winner, Jace Still. Right now, only 2.3 seconds behind Jace, so a lot closer here in these opening laps than what we saw in race 1. See the top 4 all in the same frame with 7 laps to go, and the battle for second it's opening up. They're not nearly as close as what they were a couple laps ago. Is that patience, Roger, or is there not enough there?
I think it's just the pace. You see one rider with his hand up.
I think that might have been Connor.
I don't
know.
Maverick or Dexter, not sure which exactly one. I think
Connor's
it's Maverick.
continuing. So is Maverick right there in 3rd.
You can hear the bike cutting out. Hear that. You know, hopefully, though, he can, maybe if it doesn't hurt the bike too much, just keep going and see how many points he can get by the end of this race. Still a little ways to go.
Great job by him, though, to put his hand up and alert the rest of the field that there's an error. You can hear it. You said it, Roger.
Yes, just sputtering. You can see going up the hill, he's got the bike wide open and it's not really going anywhere. You know, he's losing touch with these guys, but he's doing what he can to try to get as much points as possible. What really is going to hurt him, though, is going up that hill with the bike cutting out.
So it's now Connor Raymond in 2nd. Dexter, who stayed right there, closer there in the opening 2 laps, now he finds himself sitting in 3rd, but he's still right on the tail end of Connor, and there's certainly some room there where he could step up even more. His best time in the first race was a 54.3. He's on a 54.3 here in race number 2 as well, so.
Connor's just a little bit off compared to the first race. He did a 53.9, hasn't been able to get into 53s this race. As Jace just does a 53.6, a couple tenths off his best lap. Track temp could be up. It talked about the sun being out all day.
It reaches a point, doesn't it, where it starts to deteriorate instead of improving once the sun's been on it all day. But it's the same for everybody, so you just have to race through it. And for these 2 racers, they are continuing to do just that. Jace still leads overall, nearly 4 seconds between himself and this battle for second that continues with 4 laps to go. You can see there Jace starting to pull away going up the hill.
Dexter, another fastest lap, 54.0 for himself.
And even with the issues that Maverick Johnson is having, he is still down in the 4th position, collecting as many points as he can.
This is why getting a good start is so important. Dexter gets a great start. Now he has a totally different race. Got the speed to go with the guys in front of him. He's found the other riders have slowed down a couple tenths from race 1, and he's found half a second.
It's a big improvement for him. This is going to give him a lot of confidence and momentum going into day number 2. We'll have another pair of races. Dexter, 13 years old. He'll turn 14 years old in March. So he would be one of those riders eligible to get out in the MotoAmerica Talent Cup. But the problems that Maverick Johnson was having looking at timing and scoring, he's starting to fall down the order. I'm not sure that he's able to continue here in race number 2. We'll have to keep an eye on that. This battle for second, though, it is able to continue. Maverick Johnson, also 13 years old. He'll turn 14 in December, as will Connor Raymond.
This is part of the track where you see Dexter get such a good run up this hill, and it's his corner speed through the tight chicane. You see it out of that one there, just gets a good run, and also through here just carries a lot of mid-corner speed. There's Maverick right there.
Yeah, so he is out of this one, and frustration, obviously, disappointment for that young rider, not able to finish out here in race number 2 after the 3rd place finish in race 1. But you see Jay Still here on the 97, nearly a 6-second lead, maybe even a little bit more by the time he gets to the stripe between himself and 2nd place, with the white flag now out. It is just over 6 seconds between himself and Connor Raymond, who continues to hold on to the 2nd place, with Dexter sitting in 3rd.
Dexter's keeping the heat on, gonna look up the inside through here. The door's open. A little contact.
He doesn't give it up, he stays in it. Connor Raymond able to hold on to the position, but you can't make that mistake again. Now he knows if that door is open, Dexter is there to take it.
Dexter gonna look up the inside, just not close enough.
But here comes the 97 of Jay Still, another race win here in the GP 190 to the line. It will be the 44 of Connor Raymond in 2nd place over Dexter Daytona Salvaria in 3rd. Two race wins on the day for Jay Still. Big celebration for him. Slowed the pace just a little bit there at the end. He was running 54s after running mid 53s for much of the race.
Smart, you got a big lead on white flag lap, just bring it home. It's pretty impressive how good he can wheelie one of these little old volleys. I guess when you win races, you get a lot of practice.
Yep. He'll pull through to Park for May, as will the rest of the field, but he'll get to pull through and greet his supporters there for another race win. Say the full results. Mason McIntyre able to finish in 5th, Parker Boosie in 6th, Alejandro Gonzalez in 7th, and Case Parsley rounding out the top 8. Maverick Johnson, of course, not able to finish that one. We saw that heartbreak, and then Alex Alberton not making the call here for race 2. We have another pair of races tomorrow, another pair of opportunities to go out and get some points for this national final. It's been great to have Mission Foods on board the last couple of seasons to make a lot of this possible. The support from them, and as well as Dunlop and the rest of the MotoAmerica partners along the way, and getting everybody out there and offering the contingency and the opportunity and making it all happen for the next generation of riders. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, really cool. Arai helps out, Motion Pro. You mentioned that. Tom Duma pendant, how cool is that for these champions to get something to remember?
It's like the big leagues.
That's right.
That's really cool. Saw some of the Mission Racing style tortilla chips floating through the paddock. those bike shaped chips that have become so popular on all of the race weekends. It's awesome to have them out here this weekend as well. Looking out the window from our broadcast booth, it looks like Jace Still is getting the headset on and ready. Congratulations, Jace. 2 races here on day 1. You're able to take home the victory in both. What made this one different?
Not really much, but I think it was a good race. It was a bit more slippery because I didn't have a new front tire, so it was a bit hard trying to trail brake. But other than that, it was a good race.
For you, Jace, what'd you work on this race compared to race 1?
I was trying to figure out a good line through the chicane, like I said before. And I was just trying to focus on not to tuck the front because my tire was a bit slippery in the front.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, we'll flip the racetrack around. You have another pair of point-paying races to set the #1 plate. What would that mean to you?
It mean a lot. Yeah. I didn't win last year because of the rain, so we'll see how tomorrow goes.
We hear you got the celebrations for coming across the checkered flag first. Where do you get your celebrations from?
I got it from the World Cup from Yamin Yamal.
That's awesome. Okay, what do you do overnight? How do you get yourself ready for day 2?
Just get some rest and focus for the next day.
What is your race winner celebration dinner? What is that going to look like?
I don't know. Anything.
All right. All right. Well, congratulations on a great first day. We'll see what you can do on the flip of the racetrack tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right. We'll look forward to talking with Jace more tomorrow. That was a great day for him, a great pair of races. You can see lots of confidence, but here's that celebration, Roger.
Just be able to wheelie one of that shows you how much power that little bike has. I mean, it looks small, but to be able to get the front wheel up like that.
I hope somebody got a good photo of that. If not, they can screen capture that one from our cameras, but that's a great celebration. All right, we have Stock 110, race #2 coming up here next. We had a great run in the first race as well. This is the big field. There's a lot of young riders here in the Stock 110 class. From one race to the next, when you know that traffic is going to be a factor, Roger, how do you change your attention, or what do you do to refocus?
I think that with your parents tell you if you get through traffic good, or hey, you were losing too much through traffic, you might want to be a little bit more aggressive. We see some riders get into each other the last race, so maybe tell them to try to be maybe a little bit more patient.
As we wait for the track to open, for the riders to get out on their sighting lap, you can see into their eyes with the visors up, and you can really see how young and determined these young riders are between the ages of 8 and 12 years old here in the Stock 110 category. Got a couple of minutes before they get back out there. We had Cruz Texter win the first race out on the Stock 110 bike. He also won both of the races on the GP 110 bike. Knowing, Roger, what you know now about the day, what can the field do to stay closer to Cruz?
It's something we've really talked about all day is getting a good start and not letting Cruz get that lead right away. He's just been really fast today. As soon as that light goes out, you know, he didn't get one whole shot, but he makes the move right away. And the big part is just get your head down and try to latch on with Cruz and put some pressure on him. See if you can't force him into maybe making a little bit of a mistake.
See the 40 there of Owen Smith, eager to get out on the racetrack. Finished 5th in race 1. Here are the highlights from earlier today.
Yeah, this is that start we're talking about. You see Cruz didn't get the jump that he wanted, but see, kind of tries to work his way around the outside. He's not going to make it happen. And now he just has to sit behind Chase for a couple laps. You see he was looking on the inside, looking on the outside. Knew he had a little bit more speed, so he could be patient. Finally, he makes the pass. Chase does a good time trying to cut back under him, but Cruz just got too good of a drive coming out of that, and good battle through there for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Chase again there. Going to lead the way as they head on up the hill there early on, and this was the pass right here. Cruz just making the pass, forcing his way through up there through that chicane there. Make sure he keeps the door shut, looks back, sees Chase still right there on him, and from there, Jamie, he just went on to cruise to another victory. And right here is that accident I was talking about. Total racing deal. 2 young kids wanting the same spot. Red flag comes out. Race comes to the end, and both riders were okay, so hopefully they can make the call to race 2.
Ashton Alexander wasn't able to finish that one. Cruz Texter was able to, once he made that pass, he was able to open up the gap between himself and Chase Jazikoff to over 6.5 seconds. As the track is now open on the siding lap, we'll take a look at our starting grid. Cruz Texter with Chase Jazikoff and Ashton Alexander on row 1.
Row 4, Bruno Brahmasanga and Owen Smith.
We go back to row 3, and you will find Ethan Powers, Sophia Smith, and Cooper Jazikoff.
Row 4, Julian Hackett, Zachary Tancredi, Alexander.
We go back to row 5, and you will find Brandon Barreto, Marissa Gremmel, and Karina Tancredi.
Jira Masanga, middle of row 6.
Reese Truett, great to have her back out this season as well. 19 competitors here in the Mini Cup Stock 110 category. See all of the riders. We'll see if they all make their way back out there. Ashton Alexander, who did not finish race 1. See if he made his way out for this one. See the full field out on the grid. It's the 422 of Chase Jazikoff. Last word of advice from Mom. He had a great start in the first race today. Looks like Ashton was able to get out there. So we still have the warm-up lap to go. Last chance to see the racetrack here in the afternoon, later afternoon conditions. We've heard from a couple of riders that it's not quite as good as it was earlier today.
A couple riders too talking about using the same tires throughout the day, so getting quite a bit of laps on them.
A lot of fans watching on as well.
All the other kids out there watching their buddies.
At the fence line, that's pretty cool to be able to see. That's the other great thing about this track is from the fence line coming out of the paddock where the start-finish line is, you can really see the whole track. Don't really miss much.
There's the view you're talking about.
Yep. It's cool to see the kids from the other classes out there watching as well.
Also, when you're a young kid like these guys are, it's really cool when you see the kids in the older classes are at the fence watching your race.
These riders here in the Stock 110 class between 8 and 12 years old. There's the 99 of Ashton Alexander. Wasn't able to finish the race earlier after that incident. See what happens here in race 2. Everybody gets ready. See, they're putting the blocks out at the back of the field for Cooper Jazikoff. His feet can't touch, so he's got to start at the back. able to get out there. We'll see how much ground he can make up. Race 2 here for stock 110. We are underway. You see the 26 of Cruz Texter with another good start. It's a good start also for Chase Jazikoff.
Good start for Cruz. Good through the first chicane and pulling up the hill. Got a couple bike links. Cruz has got pole position. He's won 3 races today. Riding as well as he ever has. Just the confidence. You could just see it from one bike to the next, just growing and growing throughout the day.
And coming into today, he told us this was his favorite style of bike to race, the dirt bike, and now having won 2 races on the Ovale, getting more and more experience, more comfortable. Remember in this race last time, Roger, he had to work, he had to fight. This time he had a great start, able to stay out front, but this is the same battle that we had earlier. It is the 99 of Ashton Alexander, the 95 of Bruno Bolanos.
Let's keep it clean this time, boys.
This is a lot earlier on. It's way too early to be aggressive. They'll know that. They've been here before.
They wait till the last lap, then they...
That's right. But for Ashton, you know, we saw that frustration out of him at the end of the race earlier as there's a issue out on the racetrack for the 614. That is Sophia Smith. She finished 7th in race 1. See if she can get it refired.
Looks like she got it.
She can get back up to speed.
See, Cruz now's pulled out to a nice little gap.
2.8 seconds at the stripe. This battle between these two continuing on. It was the point I was making. Ashton Alexander on bike 99, the frustration that he had after the incident at the end of race number 1, the disappointment that he had, to be able to put that behind him and come out and run a couple of clean laps here in the early stages is pretty cool to see out of a rider that's only 10 years old.
Yeah, and I think for both these riders, they're pretty disappointed with what happened. And you mentioned it, you know, out there riding angry.
Chase Jazikoff continuing in 2nd place, doesn't have anybody on the back of him right now. He's got his own little gap. He can put his head down in these opening laps and see how close he can get to Cruz Texter before they start finding themselves in traffic.
Ron Masong is doing a good job keeping these two in sight. Just barely off these two. You can see him right there in the picture.
If you look at the scoring pylon, Roger, look at 9th place. Cooper Jazikoff, who had to start at the tail end of the field after just the opening couple of laps, already up into 9th place. He finished 11th in race 1, so this has been a big improvement for him to jump up this many spots this early on.
Still got a lot of laps to keep going.
All right, that crash that we have talked about between these two riders, the 99 of Ashton Alexander, the 55 of Ron Masaga. Take a look.
Right there, just 2 of them going for the same spot. You know, that mentioned it earlier, you see the handlebars on these bikes with motocross style. They're a little bit bigger compared to the Ovales and the other classes, and I think they just kind of lock together.
Sorry, it's the 95, not the 55. It's Bruno Bolanos that was in that incident, and they're together again on the racetrack. I thought he was going for it. It was the 95 of Bruno Bolanos. He was right there. But you see the 55 of Ron Masanga right behind these two, watching that battle continue in front of him.
He's quicker than those 2 in front of him again this lap.
From the drone shot, you can see the gap. Cruz Texter, our race leader, with the fastest lap of the race so far, a 1:01.3. A little bit off the pace from what we had in race 1 earlier today. but he's already, with still 6 laps remaining, opened up a 5-second gap over second place of Chase Jazikoff. This battle between Ashton Alexander and Bruno Bolanos continuing. We go up to our leader. There is Cruz Texter.
Over a 6-second lead for Cruz. Chase there in second. Kind of a lonely race for Chase Jazikoff. The leader's pretty far out in front of you. You got a nice gap between the riders behind you.
See the 55 of Braun Masonga and how close he's been able to stay to these two as they continue to fight, but it's really pushing Braun to continue to go quicker as well.
He's right on him now. I mean, he's in position to be a little bit closer. If those two get together again, he's going to be able to make the pass on both.
Laps to go. This is the battle for third. Is the 99 of Ashton Alexander continuing to lead over the 95 of Bruno Bolanos, but then Braun Masonga in fifth, staying right there with these two.
Ashton pulls a little bit of a gap first couple corners through those 2 chicanes and kind of loses it right there in that right hand. You see they kind of close right back down as they start to head down this hill. It's part of the track that the rest of the pack's a little bit quicker than him. The hard part is he doesn't make a mistake. You know, he doesn't leave the door open, so it's hard to make a pass when you're so evenly in speed with someone and the rider in front of you doesn't make a mistake.
As the rider who is doing the chasing, like the case of Bruno Bolanos right now, Roger, when he's not making a mistake, how do you find the room to get through? Is it aggression? Do you just have to wait?
Just try to wait. Aggression. It can be frustrating as well, especially if you feel like you have a little bit more speed than he does. And you know, for this lap right here, Bruno's did a great job keeping him way closer inside. He's quicker through this right-hander as they head down the hill. You can see the run he gets. Lap traffic coming up here too as well. Coming up on Sophia. Great to see her pick the bike up back in the race.
Yeah, be able to continue, but this could make a difference in how well they're able to get through, if at all. Sophia's running her own race also. So Ashton was able to get through.
Got through there a little cleaner.
2 laps to go. Cruz Texter continues to lead. Chase Jazikoff is sitting in second. Now Bruno Bolanos finds himself under more pressure from the 55 of Braun Masonga, who's able to get through in traffic. So Braun, but it's not over.
It's not over.
It is not over.
And Ashton was able to get through that traffic way cleaner, and you can see what that's done. He's got a nice gap. He has no pressure behind him now.
As we come to the line, the white flag is out for Cruz Texter, but he has a commanding lead over second place of Chase Jazikoff, who is over 7 seconds back, nearly 7.5 seconds back, sitting in second place. He doesn't have any pressure either, but all the riders with lap traffic still trying to get through. It's Ashton Alexander in third, Braun Masonga holding on to fourth. They're a little more spaced out than they were a lap ago.
Some yellow flags too. You see that waving yellow? It means there's gonna be a rider down up there on the edge of the track.
Safety workers trying to tell them.
Rider getting off.
Yep. That's 67 of Alexander Androvsky. There's the checkered flag for Cruz Texter, who takes his second race win in the stock 110 category. Chase Jazikoff able to finish in second. It's over 6.5 seconds between the two of them.
Look at this pack.
This has been the closest pack of racing here in this race. Third place will go to Ashton Alexander after not finishing race number 1. Braun Masanga finishing in 4th, and then Bruno Bolanos in 5th. For Cruz Texter, coming out this season, having focused on road racing. Yes, he still did flat tracking. Yes, he still did motocross, but he did a lot more road racing this year. He really took note of being behind the 8 ball a little bit last year. Called it humbling at times. Yes, he was still successful, but it was very different conditions. There were rainy conditions, and that's a great equalizer. He was not nearly as prepared for the racing like he is this year, now out in 2 classes and able to win 4 races here on day 1.
And they were honest, said the rain helped them out last year. Talk about some talent, won 3 national flat track titles too a couple weeks ago.
The next generation all here this weekend. Cruz Texter with the win. Chase Jazikoff might have been lonely, but he was still fast, finishing in 2nd. Ashton Alexander, I love that. Not able to finish race number 1, but able to get out there and stay focused in a heated battle for all 10 laps, able to stay in 3rd.
Yep, Ron Masanga there in 4th, a good battle as well.
Full field of racers here in the Stock 110 Championship. It's close up front, but there is some room to make up for the pair of races that are going to happen here tomorrow. We'll see who comes out. Maybe they're a little bit stronger with the reverse layout.
That's what's exciting. It's a totally different layout tomorrow. There's nothing really, you know, the downhill part today is going to be uphill tomorrow. It's going to be totally different.
Each of the classes getting another opportunity for 2 races. They'll qualify in the reverse layout. It's a really cool format. Great opportunity for all the young talent across the country to come together from the 10 different mini moto organizations all over the country that continue to run their own qualifiers. But for now, it is about this young guy, Cruz Texter. Okay, Cruz, first of all, congratulations. That was a great race. You had a great gap there. You had a tremendous start. But you said earlier that this was still your favorite, that the Stock 110 bike is still your favorite. Is it still even after all 4 races today?
No.
Oh.
I changed my mind. Nope.
All right, that's a big changeover for today. What's switched?
I like how I can get off the bike more on the Ovale. I can't get off the bike that much on the 110.
What about the day today, Cruz? At pole position, win all the races. Did you expect those results coming into the race?
Nope, I did not. I was expecting like maybe a 1st, a 2nd, maybe another 1st, and like a 3rd maybe.
You have some riders that are out there that are a lot older than you. Do you think about that, or are you just racer to racer?
Racer to racer.
I love that.
All right, what do you do now as we get ready for day 2 tomorrow?
Get some rest and drink some fluids and eat dinner and get ready for tomorrow.
I watched you eat your pre-race lunch earlier, and it was just a bowl of watermelon. What do you do now for dinner?
No clue, actually.
Whatever's ready?
Something.
All right. Well, it's great to have you out here. 2 different classes, so competitive. It's been fun to watch your progression over the course of the day. And I love that you've changed your mind, too, on your favorite bike.
Yep.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you back out here for another pair of races tomorrow in both of the classes. 4 more opportunities.
Okay.
All right. Get some good sleep.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a look at tomorrow's schedule, Roger. We know that all 5 classes will get a pair of races. Here's how they'll go.
Same schedules today. GP 160, stock 50, 205 Eastern, GP 110, GP 190, then stock 110. Then we get into race 2 at 325 Eastern, GP 160, stock 50, GP 110 at 405 Eastern, 425 Eastern, GP 190, and we finish out the weekend with the stock 110 race 2.
Think about some of the riders that are out there competing in 2 and 3 even of these classes. 4 to 6 races on a 2-day period with qualifying sessions and a full day of practice the day before. So much track time available.
So much track time in it, and you know, you heard Cruz talk about it. Rest is going to be really important. You want to go play, but at the same time, you got to get your rest. You got to get the fluids in and be ready for another day. There's a lot on the line tomorrow.
When we think about the races today, Roger, who stood out to you as being most impressive?
Well, Cruz had to start right there with the day he had, and then Zal also, and Jace. Those two. Can't wait to watch those two go at it one day. It's going to be fun. But Cruz Texter, a little bit of a surprise today, the way he came out, and you know, was just on fire.
It shows you what even at 8 years old, what drive and determination can change in a young racer over just a 12-month period. Well, day 1 of race action done and dusted. Tomorrow, we hand out hardware. We hand out number 1 plates. There is a lot on the line for these young riders that are here at the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex. For myself, Jamie Howe, and Roger Hayden, as well as the rest of our MotoAmerica Live Plus crew, thanks for watching with us today. We'll be back to do it all again tomorrow, but backwards. We'll see you then.